Give me coffee in the morning, gotta have a caffeine. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me back on my seat. Must shit, juice, shit, set of feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive. Woke up in the morning, sleepy eyes yawning. Jumped out of bed, started the day, opened the curtains. Felt the cool breeze, the sun shining on my face. But something was missing, I needed my job to chase. Give me coffee in the morning, give me coffee in the morning, gotta have a caffeine. Wake me up, shake me up, dip me back on my seat. Must shit, juice, shit, set of feeling so alive. Coffee in the morning, it's the best way to survive.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Everybody get on in here. Um, Good morning, Dolphin. How are you?
Oh, I am okay. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I just hold on. Sorry, I got a text that my kid's medicines are ready, and he's actually at the pharmacy, so
Oh, okay.
works out for him. I think he just got there. Okay, so he's all good this morning. My kiddo was not feeling good this weekend, so he got a little stomach bug, so he went and got that checked out. But at least that's over and done with. And I was not feeling good this weekend. You weren't feeling good this weekend either.
Just getting a lot of rest, much needed rest.
Good, good for you. Sometimes we just have to take that time, don't we? All right. Good morning, Forrest. Welcome in. Maybe just be the three of us here for a little while. We'll see what happens. Um, Also, Dolphin, other than this, the unsealing of some of the documents that came down, the
hmm
video was also released of Bethany Funk's interview.
Yeah.
We're
hmm
going to take a look at that. As
Okay.
we're going to start off with that this morning, and then we'll go into going through some of the documents that have been unsealed. Um, I debated on coming on live today, but I feel like, if I don't get in there and start unpacking it, I don't want to get behind. And there's other things popping off and other stories recovering as well, including the Mickey Stein's case. I saw Brian Enton dropped a piece this morning. It may
Oh,
have been late
yeah.
last night, but I think
hmm
it's the information. I got an email I haven't opened yet, and it should be the document that Nate's talking about. But
hmm
I'm going to watch that later and make sure. But so there's new documents coming down in the Mickey Stein's case, and some evidence going to be in these juror transcripts that the allegations about the judge and the daughter were rumors, right? That there was something going
hmm
on. So there's a lot to unpack with that, and we're not going to get onto that today because we got a lot with the Kohberger case. So we'll,
Did they say in the Mickey Steins case that they accidentally released the grand jury
mm-hmm,
transcripts? Okay,
yep,
that's what I thought.
yes. So it went into the docket, and just
hmm
apparently a few media outlets got a hold of it. And then just a few minutes later, it was taken back down and redacted and put back up. Now, the copy that I was sent, I think is the redacted copy, right?
hmm
So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't even opened that email and read it yet to read the document. So I know Elizabeth was also trying to get the unredacted copy, but I don't know if she got it or not. Um, I watched a little bit of what she had going on over the weekend, just a few minutes of it. But yeah, we'll get back to Mickey probably tomorrow and start unpacking a little more of that case. In the meantime, we'll take a look at Bethany Funk's interview with police, and then we also have the documents that were unsealed. And Dolphin, I got a chance to watch the ABC 2020 Idaho 4 special, and you said you
hmm
watched it as well.
hmm I could watch it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again, definitely, and take some because this time I was laying in my bed, guys. I didn't take notes. I just watched, right, and was a consumer. But one thing that stood out to Dolphin and I both was it was mentioned that Xana had her watch, like an Apple Watch type thing. Um, and there were movements on Xana's watch. But what we don't know is what movements, right? If they could tell about her going up and down stairs. We had that big fiasco in the Karen Reed case. Did John
Mm-hmm.
ever walk into the house? Did he walk up an incline of stairs the way his phone said he did, and the way the cops said no, that never happened? So who knows if she went upstairs or not. I'm not. I don't think I can put 100% stock on she walked upstairs. I just need to see the report. So my mind went automatically to the Apple warrants. So when those become unsealed, maybe we can get some information out of
Oh
those.
yeah.
If she really had the watch on, and if they could tell, because you and I were wondering that early on. Well, how could they? Did she have, even with Kaylee, was there a Apple Watch on that let them know she was in Maddie's room the whole night? That kind of thing. So there's still a lot of unanswered questions that, and I feel like a lot of the stuff we don't know yet, like that, are in these sealed documents that are coming down. Um,
Mm-hmm.
4:17 a.m. and forward.
Oh yeah, Jeff and I were looking at the
Uh,
1112
yeah,
light bulb camera footage because I was telling him that I could have sworn that I heard Xana scream, "Oh my God, get out of here!" And so I was asking him, had he ever worked on that audio to like
yeah.
clean it up? And he said he hadn't, he hadn't, and that he didn't hear, he didn't think he heard that or whatever. So we were
I
listening
I
to it a
heard,
lot.
oh my God.
Hmm.
I definitely heard, "Oh my God," and that's chills ran up my spine when I heard that girl say, "Oh my God."
Well, we listened to it a lot and he was looping it. And so there are several sections in there after the oh my God that it's like she yelled something again.
Yes, she did,
Hmm.
and I
So,
I couldn't make out what she said um, after she yelled, "Oh my God." Um, there's been a lot of people out there trying to. I've seen a lot of different videos out there with enhanced audio or whatever, lighting and different things. I haven't watched a lot of it though.
hmm.
I know that there's been a few people out there attempting it. I don't know the names of people right offhand. I'm pretty sure, what's his name? Gray Hughes is all over that kind of stuff. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what he's got going on over there. But yeah, Jeff, I figured Jeff would have been all over something like that.
Yeah.
But so inside of that ABC special, they had a couple of screenshots there that. So when Kohberger's phone data began to be leaked, like to the date lines and all of that, they were
Hmm.
getting the phone data. So Kohberger was apparently he loved to take selfies. Um, and according to Heather, sometimes he sent those to Mother, and sometimes he didn't. He just liked to
Oh.
take. He just enjoyed taking thumbs up selfies, like this one. Well, you can't see the thumb in that one, but you can there. See the mount? Is that what is that one mountain he liked to go climb? The Buke. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I wonder
Oh,
if that's where
I
that's
don't
at.
know. Mm-mm.
Something Buke Trail. Um, that's where he's seen the guys that were coming down the mountain. Remember, and he was going up at dusk.
Hmm.
That one.
Oh
Um,
yeah, it was the DJ.
yeah, and then there's this one as well. Again with the thumbs up. He's just like, now look at this one with the thumbs up.
That's I think that's from American Psycho.
Mm-hmm. Well, people are saying that he was definitely cosplaying, right? Um,
Hmm.
his with his images, even the look-alike Bundy type images. This one, there's a
Oh, I forgot
band-aid.
to tell you.
What?
Sorry. I
Forgot to tell
found
me what?
the serial killer timeline website that the Barnharts were talking about, and
Mm,
it is a like the mother lode of case files for serial killers, like anybody and everybody you could think of.
yeah, and you knew that Kohberger would know about that type of website. I
Hmm.
need to go on that website, look around. Now we remember when. So this was the selfie he took, thumbs up to Mother, after he did the crimes and right before he went. Was it right before he went back over to Moscow or right after? I can't remember the exact
This
time
is
frame.
before.
So notice the little band-aid on his finger.
Hmm.
That's the only one you see though. Um,
Yeah.
but he sure did like giving the thumbs up. And I wonder if they tried to pinpoint any of these locations, right? Because that looks like it's probably Wawawee on the Snake River. You know what I mean? I'm just guessing. And then you got, is that Kamiok Butte? Where's this at? Or did they go look in those locations to see phone data, like after the crimes? Where was this guy at? Was he wiping that
Mm-hmm.
clean too, to get an idea of where to go look for the weapon? That's what I'm wondering, right?
Yeah.
If they looked at any of these photos and locations around his phone and took a bite and said, let's go look there. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up to
See
mother.
where
Yeah.
maybe he buried his box that he made or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, the little wood screws that he had
Wood
to
screws in the
have, and
closet. Yep.
and
Drill.
the drill, the little say. I mean, dude, you built a special little box. It probably had little intricate detail woodworking carvings all over the side and shit. Oh, good lord. All right, let me pull up this video with Bethany. I don't know where. I'm assuming they'll be releasing the one with an interrogation
Dylan.
room interview with Dylan. Yeah, I know
Mm-hmm.
they've been requested, just like Bethany's was. The requests have been out. It's just when they start honoring them. And so now that they are starting, maybe we'll start seeing more of the requests fulfilled. Okay, so this one we're going to watch. I know Paula did it. Also, MB Inc., my buddy, he's done it. Oh, Brian, slow down there in my ear. Anyway, this is Bethany Funk's interview with Sergeant Blaker at the Moscow Police Department. And guys, we're just reviewing it to review it. It's part of the case file. I'm not doing it to try to tear down a couple of roommates. I don't agree with all their decisions. It is what it is. It's stupid. But I'm watching it because I'm just going to review it because it's part of the case file. And that's it. So we're reviewing the interview. Yeah, that's where he happened to run into him, Jeff. Because the guy said he thought it was weird. We're all coming down the mountain at dusk, and Kohberger all
First
by
and
himself.
foremost, if you could just take a deep breath for me. I understand this is stressful. Okay? All I want to do is try and get an idea of what you heard, what you saw, and any timeline, any information that you can give us so that we can try and figure out what happened, okay? So just take a deep breath for me. I know this isn't going to be easy. We're going to go from there, okay? Can I get your name? What's your first name? What's your middle initial? And your last name? And your date of birth?
2003.
And you live there at 1122 King Road?
Yep.
What's the phone number for you? And what state you're in about?
Nevada.
Nevada. Do you have your phone here with you? Okay. So what we're going to be doing is taking people's phones for a little while. And we're going to try and, so because I don't know if you called anyone or made any phone calls or anything like that. What we do in an investigation like this is we try and collect as much information as we can. Okay, anything that might be small, you may not think is important for us to find out what happened, but is very crucial. So taking something off your phone might be extremely useful for us. even if it's something that you don't realize, okay? And we'll try to get that phone back to you as fast as we can. Okay? Is that okay with you? Okay. So, this is your phone here?
Yeah, can I tell my mom?
That's fine. That's your phone number. Yep. And then what I'm going to need is your passcode from the phone, or here between the two of us, we could even turn off your passcode, okay?
How do you take them? Oh.
You can get out? Okay. And if it won't let you do it, that's fine. You can just give me or tell me what your passcode
I
is.
just don't know my...
Okay. What is your passcode? And what type of...
Can I see my mom text me real quick? Thank you.
Alright. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay. Any social media do you have, like Facebook or anything? Do you have any other social media type
I
sites?
have...
When it goes silent, guys, they've got it redacted. Yeah, a little weird with the passcode. Yeah, I don't know about the iPhones and the passcodes. Y'all know these girls weren't real bright, right?
Those are the big ones?
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. So we're going to kind of go back and try and get a little bit of the timeline, okay? So what did you guys do last night? More specifically, were you, if you were by yourself and not with a group, what is...
Ethan was in the house, so it's Anna.
So you were with...
One of them is my roommates, and one of them is her boyfriend.
Okay. So you were with Ethan...
And Xana.
Xana? Can you spell that for me?
X-A-N-Y. Or A-N-A, sorry.
X-A-N-A.
N-A.
Okay. Okay, so I'm just trying to... Sometimes it helps me put names together. So you were with Ethan and Xana last night, is that right?
Yeah.
And do you know Ethan's last name?
Cheated. I don't know how to spell it.
That's fine. And Xana's last name?
Kernidle.
Do you know spell it?
I think it's K-E-R-N-O. Maybe another O-D-L-E or something like that.
Okay. Okay, so you were with them the same... What time did you guys get the second guys last night?
Around 8 something. Maybe 8:30.
So 8:30 p.m.?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And prior to that, were you guys just at your house? Okay, so you left from your house.
Ethan was at formal because he went with his sister because she didn't have a date. And then we were just hanging out at our house. And then he came over and then we all walked over together.
Okay, so that was you, Ethan, Xana. Was there another person with you? Or just the three of you that
Maddie
walked over?
walked over with us.
Okay, and that's who's his
Logan.
name? Logan? Is it M-A-D-D-I-E?
Her real name is Madison Bell, I believe.
Okay. So you guys all walked over to, you were there about 8:30. Okay. Were you guys all pretty much together, or just kind of mingling throughout the house most of the night?
We were all pretty much together, and then Maddie left to go to the club with Kaylee. And then I was with Ethan and Xana most of the night, but then one of my friends came. Her name is Steve, and I hung out with her the rest of the night.
Okay. And who was that?
Her name is Yes.
Can you spell it for me? Okay. And his last name?
I don't know how to pronounce it, and her full name is bigger than that.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have a phone number for her?
Yeah.
It's in the phone. Okay, we can get that in here. Okay, so you were with, and at that point, Ethan and Xana were just kind of hanging out still at the house? Okay.
And then I went to our other friend's house.
Okay. What time was that at?
I don't know, maybe like 12-ish. But that could be wrong.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
And where's that house at?
It's just like up the street. I don't know that address.
Okay, up the street from,
Sigma Chi,
okay.
kind of.
So you guys are at Sigma Chi, so you're walking back towards,
We're walking back towards my house, and then we're up this way.
so like when you got to Taylor Street, you went up? So if you walked all the way from Sigma News,
Or Sigma
Chi, sorry.
Yeah.
So-
You know the apartments, the whites?
Yep, I know the lights.
It's like that street, that way.
So on Taylor?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Do you know roughly where on Taylor? Or does she live in one of the other off streets?
It's on Taylor, but it's like one of the end houses by the intersection. I don't know how to explain it.
Alright. Okay. And whose house is it that you went to?
It's, and I don't know their other roommate.
And okay. Alright, so you're at this house. How long were you here?
Maybe like 40 minutes.
Okay.
And then I left by myself and went back to my house.
So you walked home maybe around 1-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you see when you got home?
We're sitting on the couch watching Vampire Diaries. And no one else was home yet.
And is another roommate or what's his last name?
She's in that room.
Oh, okay. And
Actually, don't remember her last name.
that's fine. And is live with you guys too, or just
She's just a
visiting?
friend.
Okay.
And then she left.
Do you know what time she left at?
No.
But you were all watching.
Vampire Diaries.
Okay. And anything happened during that?
I don't think I've ever watched an episode of the damn Vampire Diaries. And maybe I'm too old, but I don't think I ever want to hear about it ever again.
I just rewatched it like a couple months ago. I just went through Vampire Diaries, Originals, and now I'm on Legacies. So I laughed when I found out that they had just watched Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
everybody was like, "Oh, that episode, what she said came straight from an episode." And I was like, "Oh, wait, which episode was it?" And I kind of think I know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
So,
I heard all that too and saw all that. I'm like,
mhm.
it was all way past my time. The vampire saga stuff. I'm werewolf days. That's where I come from. The vampires, shit, them dudes are scary. Where's my garlic? Get rid of the vampires.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so, God, look, good Lord, with the Vampire Diaries. But yeah, it's weird with Dylan because we already know she has the lucid dreams. She never knows what's real and what's not. Now she's
Whew,
watching Vampire
yeah.
Diaries, and I'm here to help you. Now she hears. I I don't take anything Dylan Mortensen says
Mm-mm. No.
as gold.
Nope.
Not one single thing. Sorry
Mm-mm.
if that offends people, but I'm not being mean to this young woman, but I can't take a damn thing she says for granted,
Yeah.
especially who you hear running up and downstairs. Because no, ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
I don't keep going there with me, because then I will have to get ugly about it eventually. Because if you heard screaming to the point where I could hear it in her voice, something
Oh,
was wrong.
yeah.
ex- Sit down with that mess, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down.
That time period?
We were just hanging out.
Okay. Do you know who else was in the house at that time?
No one.
No one?
us.
Just the three of you? Okay. So, what? Let's go a little bit more then. What happened next?
Maddie and Kaylee came home from the club. Left.
Maddie and who?
Kaylee.
Kaylee? Okay.
Welcome in, everybody who's just joining us. Joe Schmo, I see you're here. J Ray, thank you for coming in. Sirius, the Wicked Witch of the Midwest. Ooh, True Crime Butterfly. Welcome in, everybody. We're reviewing the Bethany Funk interview with, what's his name, Sergeant Blaker here? Yeah, Blaker.
And they got home from the club. Do you know what time that might have been?
I think I told one of the cops that was talking to me at the house, like, better times.
Okay.
I don't really remember.
Oh, what hell just happened?
Oops.
Uh-oh, hold on. Oh, it ain't me, is it? Hang on, I think my shit went crazy. Oh, hold
What
on,
happened?
guys. I don't
Oh.
know. I don't know. It took me away. Let's see if I put up. There we go. Okay, let me get the screen back up. I don't know what happened. I'm just sitting here minding my business. All right, let me pull it back up. Make sure we're good.
I'm not even sure how far we were in because I was so busy typing. I think they were still talking about Vampire Diaries. I don't know.
Yeah. I should be able to get it right back. It should go right back to where we were. Well, we say that, but yeah, it saved our spot. Okay, let me pull it back up. And I'm paying attention because I've already watched this once, but
Mm-hmm.
about her in the last time she saw Ethan and Xana, because you and I both
Mm-hmm.
remember the press
Mm-hmm.
conferences. Anybody with any
Mm-hmm.
information on the whereabouts of Ethan and Xana past 9 p.m., blah, blah, blah. That went on for days.
Yeah.
How hard is it to track down those two? We know Maddie and Kaylee's movements damn near the whole night.
But you know what, though?
I'll lose these two at.
The doggone PCA used her to,
Yep,
validate or, that Ethan and Xana were home. Everybody was home by 2 or
yep,
whatever. Remember?
yeah, I do.
And the PCA made it seem like they were with her,
Uh-huh,
the whole time at Sigma Chi, and that they like walked home together.
yeah. And then they come out with the press conference wanting any information on Ethan and Xana's whereabouts that night. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, how did y'all lose them? They live 5 minutes from each other, if
Mm-hmm.
that. It's weird. Weird.
Something, one,
So if you got home around 1, that would have put them
like
getting home.
1:45, 2, something like that.
So near bar break, if you had to guess.
Right?
Like near bar break.
What does that mean?
Bars normally close at 2 o'clock here.
Oh, yeah. They went to Broad Truck after, so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Good morning, MB. You did catch us live and you caught me using your video. And I did tell everybody we are using MB Inc.'s video, guys. That's my buddy from Twitter. I cannot say enough good things about him and sharing of the information. He's an excellent, excellent dude. In fact, y'all need to go follow his Twitter account. He'll keep you updated on all things true crime, especially Susan Morphew case. Cannot give enough shout outs there. We appreciate all your hard work, MB.
What did you do after that, after Maddie and Kaylee got home?
We all hung out in Kaylee's room for a little and then talked, and then Maddie and I took Murphy out to pee the dog. And then I said I was going to go to bed because I was tired, and she said she was going to go to bed. And then I went to my room. I was going to sleep, and she came and knocked and asked if I had Murphy, and I said no.
And we still don't know what happened to Murphy. And Dolphin, I went and took look a little closer look at some of the photos about how you were talking about how Kaylee's door was open, the slider, and we see the dog bed outside on the balcony. There's also a little toy laying out there.
Yeah.
And I thought, did he drag that little toy? Was that something Kaylee would normally do? Leave the balcony door open so he could run in and out, do his, he couldn't go to the bathroom, obviously. But I still don't know where Murphy was half the night.
And then I went to bed.
Okay. So what time do you think you took Murphy out?
I'm like 3, 2:30.
2:30 to 3?
Yeah.
Okay. And where do you normally take Murphy to go to the bathroom?
Just the back door in the kitchen.
So which one is 1122? So if I'm coming up King Road off of Taylor,
It's the big white house at the end.
all the way to the very top on the right?
Well, it's technically on Queen, but the address is King.
Okay. So is it the one that's tucked back as you're going up to 500 Queen Road? Those big apartments? It's kind of tucked back just a little bit? Okay. So you normally go out the back deck then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know how Cheshire it then. Okay. So you go there. You and Maddie take the dog out. And then how long do you think that took?
I was out there for maybe like 10 seconds.
Okay. Okay. So then you both come back in. So you and Maddie
I
both come
came
back
in
in.
before she did.
Okay. Did Maddie still have the dog then?
Yes, I think so.
So you went out for a little bit, came back in. Do you know what time Maddie came back in? And you went straight to bed when you came back in? Okay. How long after you went to bed do you think Maddie came back?
Actually, I came in, grabbed some chips into my room, and watched the show for a little, and then I went to bed.
What were you watching?
It's called Baby Daddy.
Okay. How long do you think you watched it?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
So one episode maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like a half.
Okay. And did Maddie come in during that show or after?
She just knocked on my door, I think, during, and asked if I had Murphy, and I said no.
Okay. Then what happened after that?
I just went to bed, and then I woke up and I was like half asleep, and I just thought I saw like a firework or something, like it just sparkled like under my door, and I thought I heard like something kind of fall, and then Murphy barked, but I thought people were just making like food.
I still can't figure out what the heck this girl saw.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of people analyze, not like the streets, the trailer park. I do not venture off into those places. That nothing good comes out of there. But I've listened to people try to analyze what could this possibly be, given the proximity from her room to the stairs to the second floor. If you know the layout, you know it.
Right.
How could she see a flash of anything from underneath her door unless
It came from the front door.
somebody was at the front door or on the first floor in her line of view from that door? It doesn't make any sense. And she thinks she heard the table falling. She heard something fall, but doesn't know what it was. We all see the table still standing, and it got bumped at some point. Obviously, some cups. I'm assuming cups are on the floor. We don't know when the cups got there, how things not got shuffled around. But was what the thud was what she heard? Could it have been the thud that the 1112 picked up? I don't know what she heard, but I'm more interested in the flash that she saw. How you could see it from down there, and what was it?
I can't wait to see if any of these interviews address the fact that the front door was open.
Yeah, well, they haven't addressed that hardly at all. When we got there, it was open because your
Well, because they were
roommates
all there.
opened it.
Hmm.
Exactly. But as far as whether the door was open or not, I don't know if we'll ever find that out. We got the one guy saying, I walked my dog and saw the door open. That's what we have.
You know,
Other
he
than
made a
that,
police report too. The police
yeah,
came to see him.
I know, but the roommates have not stated when we woke up the door was open. Well, I've not seen that in a document anywhere. I haven't heard Emily or Josie or Hunter state, anything about this door. I don't even know if it's, the only relevancy it would have is if Kohberger exited the front door, and before he did, he threw something to make a flash. But then there would
Hmm.
be an evidence of a firecracker, of a flashbang. There would be some sort of evidence of a what would cause that if it was a lit device thrown down there, like
Oh
the
yeah.
firecracker. Or was it just a flash from a flashlight? She hears a noise, she sees a flash, but then again, you got to be down there near her door for her to see it. That's what I'm confused about.
Hmm.
And again, these girls are strictly freaking
Well,
highly
yeah.
confusing. So I don't know if she was imagining it or if it,
Yeah.
was it real or Memorex? Who the hell knows?
Hmm.
Ugh.
Like, and Ethan was here or something and knocked something over because he's usually loud in the kitchen upstairs.
Okay. So what do you mean by you heard a firework?
It sounded like a little firework, and then there was like a spark. Went by my, like, I'm on the bottom floor,
Okay.
and so it kind of looked like it came down there, but I don't know.
And so is Murphy your dog?
Kaylee's dog.
Kaylee's dog?
Kaylee and her ex-boyfriend's dog.
Okay. So you heard Murphy bark right after you heard what you thought was a firecracker?
Yeah, something like that, but I don't know, dogs bark at random things. And sometimes when he's happy, he'll bark.
Okay. It didn't sound like an angry growl or anything like that, just a bark?
I don't really know, I was like half asleep.
Okay.
It just sounded like a bark.
So, hear the firework, kind of see a spark underneath the door. Murphy barks. What'd you hear after that?
Pretty much nothing.
Nothing.
That's it.
Okay. And you thought maybe someone was just in the kitchen at that point?
Yeah, just like someone accidentally fell into the table or something.
Okay.
And she was like with Murphy,
Do you know about what time that might have been? Do you have any
like
idea?
4 or something. I tried to call all of them at like 4:20ish around that time, and no one was answering. I thought they just went to bed or something.
Okay. And what happened after that?
And then she called me, and she said she thinks she saw someone. And I didn't know, like, really what to think of it, because sometimes we think we hear things a lot in the house, but it's usually just Ethan walking around. But she came, I told her to come to my room, and she could sleep with me, and we could lock the door, and just stay in there just in case if there was anything, and that's all I know. And fell back asleep.
You didn't hear anything else?
Mm-mm.
Okay. No one else talking?
Didn't hear something.
Okay. Did you make it to your room then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What time do you think she got in your room?
Around like 4:20, 4:30.
Okay, about the same time.
Yeah.
Where's her room located to yours?
I'm the only one on the bottom floor, right by the front door.
Okay.
And then you go up the stairs. And Xana's room, and Xana's room, the kitchen, and then upstairs is Maddie and Kaylee's room.
Okay. And where's the mojo?
Right by the kitchen.
Right by the kitchen. Okay. And did she say anything to you when she got into the room?
She said she thought she saw a man, but I didn't know what to think of it. I was like still half asleep, and I was like, I didn't know what to, I don't know.
Okay.
It didn't sound like I didn't hear screams, I didn't hear anything. I didn't really know.
Okay. obviously she didn't say anything more than she just saw someone.
Yeah, that's all I remember her saying.
Okay. So your bed then, if I'm looking at the right house, you have a parking lot, front door, and your bedroom's just to the right? Okay. And that's where you slept from by the time you finally got into your room around 4-ish or so. Actually, before that.
So like 3 something.
Yeah. So you were in there sleeping. Okay. Dylan got to your room maybe somewhere around 4:20ish, but Dylan was already home at that point. You knew that Maddie and Kaylee were home. Do you know when anyone else in the house got home?
I don't know when Xana or Ethan got home. I didn't hear them come in or anything.
Okay. Okay. And the last time you saw Xana and Ethan was at the Sigma guys? Okay. So, did you see anything weird at the party there at this?
Just a little.
Okay. And seems how the way that they're set up, where everyone hanging out primarily up in the main common room area, where most people hanging out in individual rooms and stuff like that.
It was a little bit of a mixture. At first it was in the like apartments, and then it was the main room.
Okay.
And then as I was leaving, I went in to grab a backpack from our friend's room, and Xana and Ethan were sitting on the couch just listening to music.
Okay.
And then
And that was up in the main room, or that was in
I was in an apartment.
That was in an apartment? Okay. Did you hear of anything that happened to anybody? Was there anyone strange or odd hanging around the party? Okay. Do you know of anybody in your house that has an issue with anyone? Any ex-boyfriends? Anything like that?
All their ex-boyfriends were really nice, and they still are good friends.
Okay. Have you ever had any of your roommates complain about anyone stalking them?
Once though, Kaylee said when everyone was like gone, me and were at the sorority house for a meeting, and it was like Kaylee, and she was taking Murphy out to pee. This was a while ago, and she said she swears she saw someone staring at her while she was taking the dog out to pee from the
Remember how long
backyard.
ago that was?
Maybe like a month. She could see like a man silhouette like staring at her.
You think it was about a month ago?
So I wonder, Kaylee was always seeing somebody looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if this guy in the bushes in the behind the house was real.
Yeah, but I would think so.
I mean, I think he was real. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not implying that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if, because we keep hearing how Kaylee always thought somebody was following her, stalking her. There's some, was it that 1 or 2 incidents, right? But could you imagine walking out to walk your dog and there's a creepy guy hanging out in the back of the woods? You see a silhouette.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be a little unnerving. And then we go back to what Ashlyn had said about when she lived there. It was a little unsettling because it felt like people could see into the house at all times. I'm telling you, I'm that girl. We'd have had to cover up them big ass.
Oh, yeah.
windows. So I get that. That makes you wonder, did he drive that car back there and park it as well? Or did he park like on Walenta or somewhere else and walk back, walk into the area? Because you could totally walk around unnoticed. And
Oh, yeah. I
not draw
definitely think he
attention to
camped
yourself.
out.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna say one thing. So we were talking in chat about what do you call it? What the flash could have been or whatever. Um, like regardless of whatever it was, I look at it this way. She said that the flash and the noise happen around the same time
Yeah.
as what the noises that were heard on the light bulb cam. So
Mhm.
here's the thing: if that happened, what happened in Xana's room happened, and we're meant to believe that okay, he came out pretty much. Shortly after that, and Dylan sees him walking out, walking towards the slider door, then for him to have been in that room when noises occurred, but then Bethany's downstairs on the first floor and she's seeing something under her door, then that means either he came out, went downstairs and did something really quick, but then came back upstairs to walk past Dylan for her to see him, or there was somebody else, or
Exactly. I don't.
something else happened
It
on
doesn't.
that first floor that's completely separate from him,
Yeah, it makes no sense for Kohberger to go to the first floor and pop off a stun gun
and then
or
run back up,
and
you
then run
know?
back up for no reason. There's nobody standing there. There's nobody to stun. There's no one to scare. He doesn't even, Bethany is like an afterthought when you don't even see her.
Hmm.
I don't know what the purpose of him going down there would even be to start with. I don't know what the girl was hearing and seeing.
Yeah.
At this point, my brain can't even try to make sense of what these two girls were doing, seeing, and hearing,
Yeah.
because I would much rather them continue to release information about Brian Kohberger so I can sit here and discuss that warped, twisted mind.
Hmm.
Because boy, is it warped! It's warped and twisted.
Did Katie have any issues with anyone?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, Woozy, and I'm looking at I got a stun gun. Okay, to me, in my mind, it doesn't matter if it was firecracker, stun gun, stun baton, I, busting light bulb. There would be evidence, unless a stun gun. But I don't know why he would even go down there and flash off his stun gun into the air for. Like, hey, I'm here. Just in case. I don't get it. So I don't know what. I get the idea behind the devices, but I don't know what the point of going down there and using them would be. Right? That's what I can't. But we already got this guy on a very tight timeline.
And it's a tight timeline. Yes,
Yeah, we
yes,
can't be
exactly.
adding in all this extra shit he's running around doing, because then I'm like, wait a minute.
Right.
No.
So at some point, you got to remember that these girls were
Uh,
drinking, sleeping.
exactly.
I guess Bethany slept more than Dylan,
Yeah.
and all that. And they both had these personalities where they were, as they
Scaredy
said,
cats.
scaredy cats or whatever, and watching something,
Always
what
hearing a
sort of creepy
noise.
before going to
Yeah.
bed. I don't know what the hell baby daddy is, but yeah.
I
I
don't either.
mean, so it literally could have just been her having a dream, waking up to the noise upstairs, and then confusing her dream with what
Could
she
have been.
actually heard
Oh, look,
upstairs.
yeah, remember, we got one girl who sees a fireman walking with a vacuum.
Yes,
So
yes. Don't
we need,
forget all of the other things that
we
Dylan
need,
said that she thought it
yeah,
was or
we need to
whatever.
keep all that in mind when
Hmm.
analyzing these two 19-year-old intoxicated girls. Mm.
None of them have made any comments or statements. Any anyone trying to come onto them or anything like that. And you said that all of the ex-boyfriends and that, they're all normally they're very nice and stuff like that. Are any of them fairly recent breakups?
One, but
Like I said, every little bit helps. Can you give me a little information on that one?
his name's he lives
Okay. Where
down the street
on Taylor?
on King. share Murphy,
Okay.
and they dated for 7 years.
And that's and Kaylee?
Or something like that.
And they did it for 7 years?
Something like that. Since high school. Their families are really close too.
Okay. And they shared Murphy?
I think.
Okay. How long ago did they break up?
Maybe like 3 months or something. But they're still on really good terms.
Do you know why they broke up?
She was gonna move to Texas.
Where's Kaylee from?
Portland.
Okay. Where is from?
Portland.
Okay. Okay. You said that they're still on good terms, they still talk to
Very
each
good
other?
terms. Yeah.
Okay. Has Kaylee been seeing anyone else lately?
Not really that I know of.
Okay. Do you know when she was going to move to Texas?
After the semester. But then apparently she wasn't going to anymore. I don't know.
Do you know what changed your
That
mind?
is so weird.
But I think she wanted to stay.
Yeah,
I don't know where she got that from.
I don't either.
Like, why would she say that?
When I heard it, Dolphin, that's my first thought. That is the first and only time I've heard it.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense where she's getting that from. It was a part of me feels Kaylee. Kaylee was born a day before I was born. Our birthdays are a day apart. We're Geminis. We're restless souls. We don't know what we want half the time. There's two of us in here. One wants one thing, the other wants something totally different. Being confused at 17, I told myself I never want to be married and have children. Well, that didn't work out. I regret the husband part, but not the children part, right? I think part of Kaylee was on that fence. Do I go out on my own? Do I stay with Jack and do what everybody expects me to do? Was she having some kind of conflict about going? I don't know. But everything you and I have ever seen over 3 years, Kaylee was set to go.
Oh, yeah. Had
Um,
a short-term roommate, and then was going to move in with somebody else, in Texas. So she had two places, you know, in the works in
was
Austin.
packing up
The
everything at home from the parents. She still had stuff that
backpacking
came
around
road.
Europe.
She had plans,
She
and
bought the car that
yeah.
she wanted.
So I
And
don't.
she was journaling about all this too. Remember those pages that her sister read like a long time ago?
Yes, I do
Mm-hmm.
now that you've said that. I can
Mm-hmm.
see it right now in my head.
And it was specifically things that, how she wanted to, do this with her life or do that. I don't know, work out more, read
Mm,
more scripture or something, whatever. I can't
yeah,
remember specifically, but, things like that were in there.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe she had a couple of conversations with the girls, but I don't think it was like a decision had been made to not
I mean,
go.
because get this though too, she broke up with Jack, right? Like
Hmm.
what, a few weeks or so before the murders and everything,
Hmm.
and then they already said that she was dating around
Yeah,
already. So I think she was like, "Look, I've been in this relationship for on and off for 6, 7 years. Da da da. Da. I'm graduating early. I need to see what's out there
yeah,
and
I get it.
experience life." And she was like, boom, 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 boom. It seems like, with her game plan. So I think that's very weird. And none of the other friends have said anything about her not going, or whatever. So, yeah.
Exactly. Um. Oh, I just saw your comment or your DM to me about the
Oh,
phones. Yeah,
yeah.
we're
Hmm.
gonna get into that too. Let's.
With all of us.
Is there anything else you think is important for me to know? And you might remember things later. That's very normal, okay? If you think you remember anything else, please reach back out to us and bring me back in and we'll get that information, okay?
I'm out of
Go
here.
back to my notes real quick before I have to go, okay? And you don't remember Kaylee's last name?
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez?
Yeah, Gonzalez.
Okay, can you spell it for me?
I don't know what to spell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay. All right, Bethany, I very much thank you for sitting down with me, okay? I'm going to take you down to the other room so you can be with your friends, all right? Are you sure there's nothing else? Good.
This primarily was on his PC. It was also on his.
Okay. So that was, I wonder who was interviewing Dylan at the same time in the other room. Whenever I hear one of the survivors speak, I just think how awful this must have seemed to them. They were so young. Yeah, there was a lot to process. But my thought goes to them beating themselves up for not reacting properly. I understand this was very hard on these girls, and I'm sure they should have been hard on themselves a little bit afterwards, because you got to get it right next time. You don't want to flounder through life and not knowing dangers all around you as it's happening. That's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good to be surrounded by danger and not be aware you're in danger. With that said, yeah, more will come out as time passes. It's just, yeah, I can't make sense of what these girls do anymore. I don't even try anymore. All right.
Excuse me.
Oh, wait, that's the wrong thing. I pulled up the wrong thing. Let me read the docket. Okay. So, guys, we went over the different filings where they're unsealing and then get your information in for the next batch. They've unsealed some of the documents, and we're going to go now. They kept redactions in the alternate perpetrator document, but the ones that have been unredacted so far, unsealed and put back out, they're not really, it's not like it's life-changing events here, but we'll go through it.
I did notice something in there. I didn't get through all of them, but I did notice something, and I want to see when you start reading them if you see the same
Okay.
thing I saw.
So let's get down to the very first one that they. Oh wait, here's another one that just popped up, because the earliest one I had was from 6/2. Here's one from 5/29 that's on the docket now. Oh, and 5/22's 5/08 back in May. That's as far down as it goes. Okay, so there's some now that I didn't even know.
I didn't see anything from May. Let me
Yeah, there's some
refresh.
showing up now, Dolphin. May 8th and 9th. But that looks like state's response to defendants. Why does it say May 8th now? Huh. That's the one I have written down. Okay. So we're just going to go through these. Oh, wait. Yeah, they just The dates have changed on those two. That's weird because that wasn't the dates on there over the weekend. Huh. Okay, let me pull this first document up and we'll start taking a look at them. We'll go through them in order.
May that have the little red new
Yeah.
tag next to them.
Yeah, but it's one I already read that first came down on 6/2. That's why because I have that date written down as 6/2, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the same document.
Oh,
So,
because I don't see anything from May.
really, because I'm looking right at it. That's crazy. Yeah, May 8th, 2025, and May 9th is what it. Let me refresh my
Which docs?
page. The first one is Exhibit S1 to state's response to defendant's 23rd supplemental request. But I also got the date written down of 6/2 on my paper. But then I look here and it says 5/8. I don't know what it's doing. Let me look back up here real quick. It's 6/2. They just moved it because it's not showing up there. Okay, I see what they did. All right, let me get back down here to the beginning on 5/8. Oh. Okay. My screen went cattywampus on me. I'm like, I didn't know what's going on. All right, let me get the first one pulled up and then I can get the screen up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this is the first one in the set, and this is sealed unredacted Exhibit S1 state's response to the defendant's 23rd supplemental request for discovery, Exhibit V, filed on 6/2/25. The state's responses are provided in blue. The state will continue to supplement its discovery responses as additional information is received. Now, number 438, complete chain of custody of the Acer laptop, which is item number 905, and the Samsung phone, which is item number 902, both belonging to Brian Kohberger. The state has previously complied with this request as follows. The Acer laptop is identified as MPD item 905, and the property number is 24M-1047. Defendant was provided photographs, Bates numbers, and depicting the chain of custody for this item back in August 16th of 2024.
This laptop was his personal laptop or
The Acer,
his school one?
the Acer was, I believe, it's going to be his personal.
Okay.
Because there's more about those two devices throughout here. The chain of custody for this item as follows. The Acer laptop was seized from room K at 119 Lambsden. Now, I noticed in one of the documents, I think they refer to one of the bedrooms as room M. I guess that's for their own labeling, right, as to which room whatever came out of. So,
Yeah.
room K is 119 at his parents' home, and it was seized on December 30th by FBI Special Agent Schreier and Maslan, FBI number 7, item number 7. The above item was turned over to SSA Tanzola prior to the conclusion of the search. SA Tanzola transported the item to the Philadelphia Regional Computer Forensic Lab Evidence Control Room. On February the 11th of 2023, Tanzola took possession of the above item from the PHRCFL Evidence Control Room, and it's got the Bates photo number attached. This item was hand-delivered to Detective Lawrence Mowry on February 14th, 2023 at the Moscow Forensic Lab. On July 22nd, Detective Mowry transferred the above item, which was secured in the MPD Forensic Lab, and booked the item into evidence in the evidence custodian at MPD. Brian Kohberger's Samsung phone is MPD item number 902 and MPD property number 24M-1044. Defendant was provided photographs, and there's the Bates numbers depicting the chain of custody. The chain of custody for this item as follows. Kohberger's cell phone was seized from room M at 119, and So
Scroll back down, or like
up.
towards the, yeah, up, yeah. See these dates? Hold on. So they got it when they arrested him,
So the Acer laptop was in room K.
right? Then it was at the Philadelphia Regional Computer Forensics Laboratory.
Hmm.
Why did it take them until February 11th?
That's what I'm wondering. What were they doing?
They left it sitting with the Philadelphia Regional Computer Forensic Lab evidence room
And what
for
were they?
almost a month and a half.
And were they doing any kind of work on it? Why would Yeah, I don't make it's
It's the
weird.
damn computer. Like, why
Yeah,
wouldn't you get on that right away?
right away.
And his phone?
The FBI, here you go, right now. We got it. You're standing right here. They gave it to them, but whatever.
Jesus.
I know. No, Anne wanting that chain of custody. She's like, "What y'all doing? What's this sitting here like this for?" So the laptop came from room K and the phone came out of room M. I'd like to see the layout of the house floor plan and where they labeled each room as to which room was which.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the above item was turned over to
And
SSA
then Maury didn't get
Tanzolo.
it until July. I'm sorry, I'm still looking
No,
at
you're
these
good.
gaps in the damn dates.
I know it's doesn't make any sense. I don't know if they were actively
Oh.
working on the phone and couldn't, and then they're like, "We better get this over to the big guns." Like, I thought the FBI was in on this from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't make any sense. The above item was turned over to Tanzola prior to the conclusion of the search. SA Tanzola transported the item to the Philadelphia Regional Computer Forensic Lab. So they were conducting some work on that phone. But I guess with the wiping stuff he was doing, had everybody stumped. But
Oh, wait a minute. The Philadelphia Regional Computer Forensic Lab is probably an FBI lab.
yeah, it's probably
Okay.
their lab.
Okay.
And
I thought it was like
like a
Pennsylvania
like a state
ISB
lab.
or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I get you. And normally that's where that stuff goes to first. They'll get sent it to their state people. And all of a sudden you got state troopers everywhere who are all of a sudden cell phone data experts and crash reconstructionists. We're like, damn, you state troopers are jacks of all trades. Anyway,
in
they go
in
through
Massachusetts, right?
they
Yeah.
go through lots of training. They're secret FBI agents. God, Coffin Dapper probably trained half of them. On FBI, on February, Tanzola took possession of the above item from the control room. The item was hand delivered to Detective Lawrence on February 14th, 2023. That's crazy. On July 22nd of 2024, Maury transferred the above item, which was secured in the MPD forensic lab, and booked it into the evidence custodian at MPD. And there's the Bates number. Now, because I can't be reading fast today. I'll get all dizzy and shit. I have been sick all weekend. Copy of image QPH5. I referenced and I also still got my running list of what different evidences are,
Mm-hmm.
exhibits, and I've got all that written down and I'm trying to keep up with it. So um, that's where you want to ask for when you do certain FOIA requests. You'll get the specifics. So Um, QPH5 is the image of Brian Kohberger's Acer laptop's hard drive. This information was provided on April 4th, 2024, on the server provided to the defense. It can be found in the following path, and then they give her the path. So they gave Anne a hard drive, and there it is on her hard drive of all that terabytes of discoveries she couldn't work through. Um,
Yeah, he had an Acer box in the picture from his apartment.
mhm.
That was in his desktop or whatever. I mean, yeah.
And the
So he had
Acer
more
laptop
than
is
one. Hmm.
Yeah, we know that they got an Acer laptop listed on the return from Pennsylvania. It was always on there. Well, there was a couple of laptops and computers on there, but
Hmm.
Acer
Hard
was,
drives,
yeah,
SSD, all kinds of stuff.
yeah. FBI PHRCFL report 25 through 114 states that an image of the above was provided to the state's subject matter experts. 440, copy of all raw data, records, handwritten notes, and forms used by Dr. Gage in the evaluation of Brian Kohberger. The defense is asking that these materials be sent directly to Dr. Orr. Now, Gage was for the state, and Orr was for the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ann's like, okay, I want everything he did to go to my girl.
Yeah. Psych evals, right?
Yeah. A copy of the raw data from Dr. Gage was requested, and he is out of Boise because I looked him up again. Because I remembered looking him up a while back, but I looked him up again over the weekend, and he is out of Boise, and he is a psychologist. A copy of the raw data from Dr. Gage was requested on May 29, 2025. So I'm assuming that they did this after he was transferred to Ada County, since they used a doctor out of Boise,
Mm-hmm.
unless he was like the go-to and they brought into Moscow, but I doubt it.
Yeah,
Uh,
May 2025. That's definitely Ada
it-
County.
yeah, he was transferred over to Ada at that point. Dr. Gage sent the raw data directly to Dr. Orr, and remember we had read a lot of that in the documents that we've read in the past, pursuant to applicable for professional ethical standards. So he sent that over to Dr. Orr on May 30th of 2025. The state has requested the balance of this discovery. Now, see, and why was any of this sealed to start with, right? It's not like there's
Yeah.
incriminating evidence there. It was just more to keep the people going, what does this mean, right? Why is this redacted? This has got to be crazy. Um, and the judge even said, y'all are redacting some stuff that didn't need to be redacted. And then the boom, the leak happened, and there we are. So anyway, it didn't make any sense for some of this
Yeah.
to be redacted or sealed.
Riley's like, how many does the guy need? Sheesh. Riley, he's like me when it comes to tech, and I'm like literally in the room that I'm sitting in now. There's like one, two, at least two old laptops and about five external hard drives. The actual desktop computer that I'm on, my working laptop, is in another room, and I mean, I got devices all over the place, flash drives, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
not unusual.
No, it's not really. I just had to go through things the other day, and I was like, look, I got two or three phones sitting over here in this drawer. I'm like, why do I need all this random stuff? It took me a
Hmm.
while to throw some of that get rid of some of that stuff I have had though. Like,
Well, when the search inventories, the search warrant inventories came out, I was looking at all of his tech, and I was like, "Yep, yep, I know that. Yep, he's got good taste in SSD drives. Yeah, like all of that stuff I recognize." So, and the computer in his apartment, I was like, "Dang, he's got a nice gaming card in it too." Um, it's because it was huge. I saw it from the side, and I was like, "Yep, that looks like
oh
mine."
yeah,
You know? Hmm.
yeah. Okay, so now we have. Yeah, it's not unusual. I mean, some of this stuff the guy. Okay, let me this and this one ain't very big. All right, this was just and again, why was this even sealed? It was the 23rd supplemental request for discovery, Exhibit V, under seal, 438, the complete copy of the chain of custody for the laptop and the phone, and then 439 was a copy of the image of the hard drive, and then 440 was a copy of all the raw data from Dr. Gage, asking to be sent over to Dr. Orr. And it's like these are your supplemental requests, and that everybody was going on and on about she's got to file so many. They're
Yeah.
she saw something interesting in a document. She's like, oh, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that. Okay. I'm keeping up with my list here. Now we go
Yeah,
down.
and that page you just closed though, that was like item, 444445 or whatever on that one request. So they had at the very least asked for 400 different things from the prosecution.
Hold on a minute. Get back here. Okay, hold on. I didn't. Let me get the next one. Okay.
I need to get up and get some cough drops. Oh,
I'm
hey, you
so
got the next one?
yeah. Oh, knock my coffee over. It wouldn't be good. Okay, so this is, let me get it up here, we can see state's response to defendant's motion for independent analysis of evidence. And it was comes now, the state of Idaho, by and through Latah County prosecuting attorney, respectfully informs the court the state does not object to the defendant's motion for independent analysis of evidence, so long as this analysis is not used as a basis for a motion to continue trial. The state notes the defendant received the extractions, digital copies of these items on April 4th of 2023. The physical items of the evidence, the laptop and the phone, have been available for analysis since July of 2024. Again, why was that even a sealed document, right? There was nothing
Yeah.
there. There was literally nothing there incriminating either way for either side. Just, hey, we want to review this. Okay, here you go. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Things like that got this case all stirred up. Okay. I mean, you can kind of sort of see why some things would be redacted, but nothing, none of
I
that shit
mean,
needed to
yeah,
be
it's
redacted.
common sense that they would be looking at his laptop, looking at his phone, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever, back and forth. That they didn't have to, I agree, they didn't have to redact that kind of stuff.
I know it's like standard investigation procedures. Why are you redacting such a weird, let me see the phone? Okay, here you go. Like, it's so ridiculous. Okay, so the next batch we have the state's response to the defendant's motion for independent analysis. We looked at that just now, and then redacted motion for independent analysis, and it's the same document. Basically, it's just asking them to let them look at it. Let me, of her asking for the chain of custody and all of that. They went. I could have went to the from the top back, I guess. All right. Again, motion for independent analysis of evidence comes Brian Kohberger through his attorneys of record. They're asking for the allowing of independent test of the evidence which relates to the above entitled matter in the possession of the Moscow Police Department, the laptop and the phone. So I guess they were needing that phone for Ray. I don't know who the laptop was going to. The items
Mm.
requested should have a continued chain of custody from Moscow Police Department to defense expert, name redacted, but Ray fits in there. The items shall be hand delivered and sent via FedEx. That ain't hand delivered. Shipping to redacted and returned to the Moscow Police Department through FedEx shipping. If either of the item is damaged, if either item of evidence is damaged or lost during the transport of such items, the defense will stipulate to extractions done by the state and photographs of the item. Further, during such time as the items of evidence are in the possession or under the care of the control of the defense, all items will be handled with care while preserving the items. Now, could you imagine if Anne's like, oops, we accidentally broke the phone? Like, well,
Mm.
we got digital copies, ma'am.
Yeah, they've cloned it. Yeah, already.
Wow. Again, why have all that redacted, right?
Yeah,
Crazy. It's like, come on, Moscow. Y'all think y'all is some big secret.
I think they just got in the habit of, sealing everything or whatever.
And they were lazy about it.
Hmm.
Let's just seal everything, make it easy for everybody, unless you're, Anne will come out in a hearing and like, oops, let me let that slide. But yeah, some of this stuff was just absolutely ridiculous to even want sealed. And I think they got lazy. And plus, they also knew they had circumstantial evidence outside that sheath. But so many cases are on circumstantial evidence. Good Lord, do y'all ever watch the court TV prosecutors? I think, sometimes you get that direct evidence that you need, and sometimes you just don't. All right. I'm going to have to run grab a hot cup of coffee. And I'll pull this
Which
document
document were
up.
you on?
that was the independent analysis of evidence. This is we're about to pull up is the state's objection to defendant's offer of proof.
Oh, okay.
Let me get the screen pulled up here. Okay. Riley only wants an old rotary phone. All right, let me get my screen pulled up where I can see if what's going on. What in the world? Okay. Sorry guys, I'm a little distracted by not feeling good. I hate not feeling good. It's just absolute worse. And when you're on that like just enough that you know it, but not enough to knock you all the way down.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
I freaking hate it.
I was gonna say if you want, I can go grab a bottle of water and
You go grab your
I
water
can
and
read these for you or
okay,
whatever.
great. Go grab your water and come back and then I'll go grab coffee.
Okay, I'll be right back.
We'll tag team this shit, guys. I appreciate Dolphin coming up and helping me unpack all this and appreciate you guys coming in and being a part of the conversation with us. That's what it's all about around here. So take the time to go grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever your vice might be. And thank you, Forrest, for reminding everybody to like and subscribe and share. We appreciate it. Defendant had a sip of water, sealed out glass, down redacted. Thanks, Butterfly. We got back to back colds in this house. I cannot. I got to get me some, what do you call that? Emergency stuff people take? Because I've got autoimmune. So if you walk past me with a cold, I'm going to catch that stupid thing. But I stay home a lot. So my kid gets it and brings it home. But I'm not, if this is any indication of how winter's going to go, y'all can, I'm not leaving the house ever. Oh, maybe I'll become one of them germophobics like Kohberger. Anyway, I'm not a germophobic. I just don't like getting near people who are sick. It makes me sick. All right, Dolphin, you're back with your water.
Yeah, let me see. I've got these up in
Oh, my leg
Adobe.
sleep.
Just gonna.
Is Joe still in here? Joe, when are you going to go live and give us the rundown on what you said to old Holman? I got a glimpse of, yeah, everybody coming up on stage to give that man a round of applause, and he got his little award for his little, what, investigator of the year or something. I think Hermosillo should have gotten that award, but who am I to say what CrimeCon does with their time? But Woozy, I guess you kept Joe in line because y'all are back and you're safe. You're marked safe from CrimeCon and Jerry Holman. Airborne, Riley. I need some airborne. Is that the same thing as emergency? Are they?
Pretty much, I think.
I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah. I don't know if airborne has the same like level of like vitamin C and stuff like that in it, but
I know
it
with
might.
there's a thing called an adrenal cocktail, and if you have, I I've been so sick with my autoimmune at times, or I had an adrenal crash more than once, and there's an adrenal cocktail you can drink, and it's loaded with vitamin C, and oh my god, it's like a miracle drink sometimes, and I feel like I'm probably there. I feel like I need to take better care of myself. Echinacea. I've taken that before. All right, so I'll go get some fresh coffee, come back. I'll order me up some meds so I can be good to go for the winter because I ain't trying to be sick. All right, I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. You guys can see this document. Yep. Okay. Yep, that's good. I can still see chat. Okay, so this is state's objection to defendant's offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators and defendant's evidence in support of offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrator. So this is coming from the state of Idaho. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and objects to the defendant's May 14th, 2025 offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators and May 23rd, 2025 evidence in support of offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators. So on April 18th, 2025, this court entered its order memorializing oral rulings on motions in limine, which included the state's motions in limine to prohibit the defense from offering alternate perpetrator evidence. In that order, at page 6, the court directed that the defendant must present offers of proof no later than May 14th, 2025, so the matter can be addressed at the pretrial conference, which was scheduled for May 15th, 2025. The court recognized the Idaho Supreme Court's decision in State versus Meister, which held that mere inferences that another person could have committed the crime will most likely not be relevant, and if relevant, will still be subject to the limitation provisions of IRE 403. The court correctly noted that, after all, the defendant cannot merely show another person could have committed the crime. Rather, there must be evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking the third person to the actual perpetration of the crime. The defendant subsequently filed his offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators on May 14th, 2025. At the pretrial conference held on May 15th, 2025, the court directed the defendant to submit actual evidence to support his alternative perpetrator allegations, stating that the defendant's May 14th proffer contained allegations that were fairly objectionable. I'm sorry. Hitler makes me laugh.
Yeah, he does.
I saw some stuff in the court minutes that had been sealed. Oh, so funny. Mm. The defendant subsequently filed his evidence in support of offer of proof regarding alternate perpetrators on May 23rd, 2025. Yet, the defendant's proffered evidence is substantively no different than what the defendant alleged in his May 14th, 2025 offer of proof. I'm just going to say offer of proof because we all know it's about alternate perpetrators.
Yeah.
Um, with the exception of, and it's something redacted. It appears that in reality, the defendant merely wants to cross examine various states' witnesses as opposed to trying to make a case of an alternative perpetrator. While the defendant certainly has the prerogative to cross examine states' witnesses, he cannot speculate that a third party committed the crimes with which the defendant is charged. This is the essence of the limitations and requirements related to alternate perpetrators. It remains the state's position that any attempt by the defendant to offer or argue an alternate perpetrator theory without evidence specifically connects person or persons other than the defendant to the homicides would do nothing more than mislead and confuse the jury, and would also result in undue delay, waste of time, needless presentation of cumulative evidence, and unfair prejudice to the state. I forgot this was a document written by the state. Who is this? This is probably Bill Thompson writing this. Um, Turning next to the four individuals the defendant wishes to argue as alternate perpetrators, the state addresses each in turn. As discussed below, the court should preclude alternate perpetrator evidence as to each because the defendant has not provided admissible evidence linking them to the homicides as required under Meister. So this is, we'll just say person number one. The defendant first proffers, yada yada, proximity to two of the victims hours before the homicides, without something else later that night, is not probative evidence and is excludable under Idaho Rules of Evidence 403. Particularly looking at blank, the defendant, if I had to guess, I would say this first person is probably Jack D.
Yeah.
The defendant next points to three lab reports which merely reflect that as a part of blank's cooperation with the investigators, he voluntarily submitted a DNA sample and fingerprints. Tellingly, the defendant fails to note that the ISP forensic lab eliminated blank's DNA from the crime scene. Blank's DNA was not found on the knife sheath strap on which DNA was found that was matched to the defendant, or in the DNA mixture found on the back of the sheath. See State's Exhibit, yada yada.
So
Um, mhm.
DNA was not found on the knife sheath strap.
Yeah, this person's DNA was not found on the knife sheath strap.
So there was DNA on the strap as
Hmm.
well as the button snap.
Hmm. Yep, or in the DNA mixture found on the
And on the
back of
mix,
the sheath.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's weird. I'm wondering if he's, because I know this is Bill, Bill needed to retire a while ago. Do you think maybe he mistakenly said Shrap?
I don't know. That's what I don't.
Because the mixture
Instead of
on the
snap.
back, I'm thinking is going to be the blood that was on the back of it because it
Yeah.
was sitting and,
Yeah.
all of it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what that was. But the strap, I was like, wait a minute, what's on the strap? We have always heard button snap, 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 snap. But
Mm-hmm.
in the ABC special,
Mm-hmm.
the couple from Othram said there was so much DNA on that knife sheath.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even know where people got the trace spec from, right?
Yeah.
That it was a lot there to quantify from. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see more reports as they become unsealed if that's ever mentioned again. I got these specific report numbers written down as well, and the
Okay.
labs and all that.
Okay. I will say this too. This is short enough to be Jack. This, to me, I'm like, is that Decor or is that Showalter? Because, Showalter did come forward.
You know, Showalter's going to be one of the alt perps,
Mm-hmm.
as well as Jack, um,
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee's ex. I don't know who the other two they're insinuating could have been were. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's Maddie's boyfriend because he wasn't even
He was
there.
in Boise. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been able to pinpoint who she might think the others are yet. A lot of it's going to be related to the blood samples that were around the apartment or the house, too. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, trying to decipher what she's even talking about. And it feels like she's getting her alternate perp suspect idea from
Who they were
DNA.
eliminating.
Right, right.
And yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like in Delphi claimed they investigated certain people, but all those interviews were lost and we don't have them. That's weird. Now, if we had lost interviews over here of these roommates, I'd be having red flags waving. What do you mean you lost their interviews? What do you mean you recorded over them accidentally? No, no, no. We don't have all that here. Um, so it's and the Delphi defense team also discovered their alternate perps by going through discovery, right? This because the state did investigate a little bit. How they ruled them out's different. But here it's the same thing. The defense is going through the state's discovery and they're like, oh, well, you question this person, this person, this person. And if they're eliminating their DNA from the sheath, I don't know where Anne could even it's better to do it under cross examination than her she doesn't have anything other than their DNA maybe in the
No, she
house.
sure didn't. Mm-hmm.
Right. All right, go ahead and continue, Dalton.
Um, let's see, where was I? Oh, okay. I think I'm down to the first bullet point. Blank's DNA was not found on the knife sheath strap on which DNA was found that matched to the defendant, or
Okay.
in the DNA mixture found on the back of the sheath. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da. ISP lab report number 7 excludes Blank's DNA from the swab taken in Xana Kernodle's bedroom and from the DNA found under Ms. Mogan's fingernails. ISP Lab Report 13 excludes Blank's DNA from the samples from the fingernails of all of the other victims, as well as the swabs taken above the stairwell at the residence.
I
Which one? They
wonder,
should have said which one.
yeah, I was waiting on that too. I wonder
Hmm.
where they took the swab from Xana's room at. A swab taken from Xana's bedroom, and then you
Hmm.
have the under Maddie's nails. But
Hmm.
which because we see the blood droplets in Xana's room. We know there was blood in the room. I don't know where they took a sample from. Um, So that's interesting. I want to see these particular lab reports.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
keeping a catalog of them all. Wrote down what the reports are, the numbers, and what they are supposed to reference. So try to make it easier to get more
Mm-hmm.
information. But go ahead and continue.
Da, 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 da. Okay, from the fingernails of all of the other victims, as well as the swabs taken above the stairwell at the residence, the upper floor banister, and the bottom of the handrail at the scene of the crime. Uh,
And remember in one of Anne's, what was it? One of her motions in Lemony, she goes on about the blood on the handrail.
mm-hmm,
Remember, everybody's like, "Oh, there was more blood in the house. We found this handrail." So
mm-hmm,
I don't know if they were ever able to build a profile because as she goes on, I think one or two of these people there was never like anything. I don't know what to continue to read it. So
okay. ISP Lab Report 26 excludes Blank's DNA from a sample taken on the north wall of the stairwell at the residence and another sample taken from the half wall at the residence. Oh man, these people are not descriptive enough. Um, okay. ISP Lab Report 31 excludes Blank's DNA from the sample taken from the door of Ms. Mogan's bedroom.
um,
So,
I
that's
gotta.
what I saw earlier.
I'm gonna let you read. I gotta mute out, guys, and call the pharmacy really quick for my kiddo. But
Mm-hmm.
I'll be right here. Okay.
Okay, but that's what I was mentioning earlier that I had noticed because I haven't read all of these
Which
documents.
one was it
What
that
I
you know?
just said about sample from the door of Maddie's bedroom. That means those
Yeah.
blood drops on the door were not Kaylee's and they weren't Maddie's.
Right. Whose were they?
Right.
We
So,
saw that you got Kohberger with a band-aid on his finger. I don't
hmm
know how bad he cut himself, scratched himself, nicked himself. I don't know. Was a drop of blood from him, but if it was, it would have matched his DNA. We would know that by now, I think.
hmm
Hmm. Okay.
yeah, so
I
I
gotta make
definitely
this
want to
call real quick.
see report number 31.
Okay. I got all that written down for us.
Okay. The defendant next submits three law enforcement investigation reports and then blank. Um, First, these reports and their contents are hearsay. That said, all they demonstrate is that blank affirmatively reached out to law enforcement investigators and voluntarily cooperated with them, including providing his DNA. Defendant's speculation that this somehow suggests culpability is without foundation. The balance of the defendant's submissions are comprised references of, and here we have like a lot of redactions. In sum, the state respectfully submits that the defendant's submissions regarding this one person, who I do think is Jack Showalter, do not even rise to the level of mere inferences that he could have committed the crimes, much less evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking him to the actual perpetration of the crime. Okay, and then it looks like this is going to be somebody else's name. The next person, so the second person. The defendant's submissions continue with regard to blank and are inadequate in the same ways as discussed with respect to blank, the previous person. Blank's DNA was excluded from the mixture on the back of the sheath, from the sample from Xana Kernodle's bedroom, from the samples found under Ms. Mogan's fingernails, from the fingernails of all the other victims, and from swabs taken above the stairwell at the residence, the upper floor banister, and the bottom of the handrail at the scene of the crime. Excuse me, I need some more water. Sorry, I was drinking mm, orange juice earlier and it's given me like the worst dry mouth. So weird. Okay. Blank's DNA was also excluded from the swabs of the north stairwell wall and half wall, and from Ms. Mogan's bedroom door. Defendant next alleges that Blank's alibi as to his whereabouts and activities on the early morning of November 13th cannot be corroborated. It says this is incorrect. So I guess they have something here to challenge that. Oh, I do remember this footnote being redacted before. And yeah, there's a lot. So they probably go on to state how the alibi was corroborated. Defendant next suggests that blank. This is not probative of a connection between blank and the crimes. As he did with blank, defendant then cites many tips that blank should be considered a suspect. Very short name there. Yet there is no evidence of any tip, which would be hearsay anyway, in the defendant's filings other than statements attributed to blank. The balance of the defendant's submissions regarding blank, as with the others, are largely hearsay and are at best mere inferences that blank could have committed the crimes. There is no evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking blank to the actual perpetration of the crime. Okay, so whoever that second person was, the alibi is what they were saying was in question, and it looked pretty brief. So then right here, this is going to be a third person. Defendant next refers to longer redaction. As with blank and blank, probably DNA was excluded from the strap at the back of the knife sheath. In addition, blank was excluded from the samples taken from the victim's fingernails. And then some other stuff is redacted, which now this is interesting because they've been saying you've been excluded from Maddie's fingernails, the other victim's fingernails, the sample on the door, the sample on the handrail at the bottom of the handrail, on the half wall, something out of Xana's room. Now this is interesting because it's like, why do they now have this section redacted? There's something right here that I'd love to know what that is, because basically, so this says, yeah, in addition, blank was excluded from the samples taken from the victim's fingernails, from the swabs above the stairwell. Okay, so they do mention that. The upper floor banister and the bottom of the handrail. What? Any guesses, anybody, as to what this is right after victim's fingernails? I wonder, did they name somebody specifically? But this is awfully long. I'll keep going.
Okay, so
ISP.
where are you at? Let me catch up. Are you
Right here. This is going to be the third person. This is the name.
I'm on my screen as a where am I showing what you're reading? I couldn't keep up. I was on the phone with the pharmacy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the defendant notes that. Are we there? Or because I couldn't listen to you and talk to the lady on the
I'm
pharmacy.
on page 6, the bottom of page 6.
Oh, okay, okay. I got you. All right, now we're back. Okay.
Right here, defendant next refers to blank. As with blank, DNA was excluded from the strap at the back of the knife sheath. In addition, blank was excluded from the samples taken from the victim's fingernails. Then they've got this long redaction.
So there they mention again DNA from the strap.
Right.
Huh.
So, but in all of these previous ones, they've said it's under Maddie's fingernails, something from Xana's bedroom, whatever. The upper floor banister, the swabs on the stairwell. They've identified everything. Bottom of the handrail. So what is this right here? The 3 lines
I don't know.
in between all of that. That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's this says the DNA lab report states ISP forensic DNA lab report number 4. J Ray says I can't see what you're looking at. Maybe refresh
Is my screen
your
not showing?
stream. Yeah, I see it
Yeah, I see it.
because I've got the restream on the side, and yeah.
Yeah. I got the restream up and I got my YouTube on my phone up as well. So, as long as everybody can see what we're doing here. Okay.
No, but if it's the button on the strap, I mean, they haven't been redacting all that. They've repeated it twice. Now
Mhm.
this is the third person. Now it's like they've got most of the things, but then this big section that's redacted. right in the middle of while they're listing
Yeah.
things, places that the DNA, this person was excluded from. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, let's see. ISP lab report 26 excludes blank from the swab taken on the north wall stairwell of the crime scene. What was that? That was page 6, by the way, on this report.
Hmm.
Um, and the half wall of the crime scene. ISP lab report 31 excludes blank's DNA from the sample taken from Ms. Mogan's bedroom door. Um, no, he wasn't excluded from underneath the snap. I don't know why they're saying strap, but yeah, that's interesting though. Um, the defendant notes that blank was familiar with the victim and their residence and lived nearby. Aside from the fact that blank, whatever, the other observations of proximity are not unique to blank. Indeed, it appears that there were numerous people who were familiar not only with the victims but also the 1122 King Road residents. So, oh, that's good. You can see? Great. Defendant also makes notes that blank. This too is not suspicious. Ah, dang.
But what? How do we know?
Show us. Let us be the judge.
Yeah, let us be the judge of that, Judge
God,
Nicholas.
that's a lot.
Unredact this whole damn page. Page number 7.
Yeah.
We
The
don't need.
defendant also
Okay.
alleges, yeah, the rest of the damn page. Okay.
Look, they released the whole PCA finally over in the Delphi case after the man finally got convicted.
Mm-hmm.
They left out a whole ass page, and they're like, "Oh, y'all ain't getting that page." We're like, "What?
Mm-hmm.
What? You just left out the whole page?" We want unredacted pages. We need transparency across the board. That's crazy. This
Mm-hmm.
is not suspicious. Well, it may be to us.
Yeah, really. Let YouTube be the judge on that.
Yeah, we're the experts. Damn
Mm.
it.
Let's see. Okay, so Blank was fully cooperative with the investigators, providing DNA and consenting, yada yada. Again, the defendant's allegations do not rise to the level of even an inference that Blank committed the murders, much less constitute evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking Blank to the actual perpetration of the crime. So this is the third person. The third person is someone who lives close to the house.
Hmm.
And hell, that could have been anybody. Um,
It sure could have. It could have been old Enon for all we know.
oh God,
Oh, Enon, Enon, where are you at, buddy?
I kind
Your little freaky
of,
ass in your car.
let me see, where's the,
I picture Enon huddled in the corner somewhere getting high right about now.
mm, whoever it is, they've got a short last name, long first name, short last name.
Hmm.
See right here.
And I wonder if one of them was the one that Dylan named that might have been a suspect. One of those reports that she offered up a name at one point.
Mm, yeah. She offered up one that she had problems pronouncing his last name. I'm pretty sure we know who that might be.
Hmm.
Let's see. So where was I? Da, da, da. Okay, so we had all of these fully cooperative. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep. Don't rise. Okay, right here. This is the fourth person's name. And then it says, finally, the defendant submits blank as an alternative perpetrator. The defendant's attachments clearly reflect that blank was cooperative and voluntarily submitted a DNA sample. ISP lab reports 13 and 31 exclude blank's DNA from any of the samples from the crime scene or the victims. Excuse me. Inconclusive as to the sample from Ms. Mogan's fingernails. Uh-huh, uh-huh. ISP Lab Report 26 also excluded Blank's DNA from the samples from the north wall of the stairwell at the scene as well as the half wall at the scene.
I wonder if they were ever able to identify where Maddie got the jacket that night. And was that
Hmm.
person's DNA under her nails from her
Oh,
slipping the
most
jacket
definitely.
on? You know what I mean? From her just putting it on. But I
Hmm.
haven't seen in any reports yet about her getting the jacket at the corner club or anything like that. So,
Yeah, I haven't either. Um, okay. Blank's only possible connection to any of the victims was, and we got four, five. Yeah. This behavior is not probative of any role in the homicides and is also excludable under Rule 404. Um, only possible connection to any of the victims. So this is probably somebody, little, I don't know, a little distant, a little bit more distant from, connection or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, maybe they put the private driver up in there, you know?
You never know.
I mean, because he was cooperative
Yeah.
and all that. So, and he did drive them,
Well, it seemed
two
like
of them.
everybody was cooperative that they were speaking to, including old Showalter. Um,
Hmm. And
so,
then,
you know, but if their DNA don't match the sheath and none of them owned a white car, maybe one or
yeah,
two owned a white car. I don't know what everybody individually drove. I did not deep dive into every person there on the suspect list and get into their business that deep. But I don't think, there was everybody running around in white Elantras, turning off their phones during the commission of the crime, um, and leaving
yeah,
DNA on the actual sheath in the home. DNA in the home, it's going to be there if they're boyfriends and if they're in there partying, things like that. But they're not on the damn Anne needed more than just there's a possibility because they were there, but it's not their DNA on the sheath or under the victim's nails. I get Kohberger's weren't under the nails of the victims, but he's on the sheath. So it's crazy. If she had had something a little more meatier, then I could have got behind it. But yeah, I get where the judge was going with his frustration with this one.
mm, yeah, no, definitely. Oh, sorry, I started cleaning my glasses. Hold on one
I
second.
heard this spray.
Um, the fact that they go on to say what, seven more lines worth of redactions. That's interesting.
Mhm.
Um,
So she's got mere inferences that redacted could have committed the homicides, much less evidence. What is she? It could have. So then we go to here, right? Is where we're at now.
regardless, yeah, even if blank, 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 whatever, this
Hmm.
act does not provide any evidence of a connection to the crime, much less the type of evidence required under Meister. Yeah, that makes me think that it's probably the private driver, because it's like, regardless, even if this guy drove the girls home to the victim's home, this act does not provide any evidence of a connection to the crime. You know what I mean? Like, it would fit there, I think.
Because he was the last person to see them alive.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, outside of the room,
Outside the house, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, if I had to guess, I think that's probably who the fourth person is. Dang, I can't get I messed my
You
I
mess.
smudged them, and
Oh, I hate when I do that.
like I'm
You're,
trying to get, yeah.
you're like, I'll be outside holding mine up to the sunlight, going, "Oh my God, how do I even see through these things? Holy hell!
Okay, let's
No
see.
wonder the world looks blurry."
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm gonna have to get a lens wipe if that. Yeah. Keeps up. Okay, yeah, so regardless, even if blank, this act does not provide any evidence of a connection to the crime, much less the type of evidence required under Meister. The balance of defendants' proffers regarding blank are largely hearsay, and some would be also precluded by IRE 403 and 404, and more blank. Perhaps the most obvious failure of defendant's proof is the fact that blank. Once again, the defendant's submissions do not even rise to the level of a mere inference that blank could have committed the homicides, much less evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking blank to the actual perpetration of the crime. In addition to the foregoing, none of the defendant's submissions even hint at any connection between these four individuals and the defendant himself. Okay, interesting. Based on the undisputed evidence and what appears to be his theory of the case, the defendant likely will argue that the true killer or killers committed these crimes and also framed the defendant by placing his K-bar knife slash sheath at the scene, his knife slash sheath at the scene. But nothing in the defendant's submission points to any of the alternate perpetrators accomplishing this or having the motive or means to do it. Nor does the defendant connect any of them to a K-bar knife, whether the one the defendant purchased in March 2022 or another K-bar. Defendant's submissions also do not connect any of the individuals to a Hyundai Elantra, right? So then he's got a bunch of redactions, and it's probably naming what all the four people drive. Conclusion. Based on the above, the state respectfully prays for an order from this court prohibiting the defendant from arguing an alternate perpetrator theory. The defendant is free to cross-examine these individuals if they are called by the state, but again should be barred from suggesting or arguing that any of them are alternative perpetrators of the homicides. And that is Bill Thompson who wrote this. I thought so. Very interesting. Yeah, I'm fairly confident that that's what he did, is named, like listed what those people drive.
Yeah, more than likely. And the wording, this is the defendant likely argue that the true killer or killers committed these crimes and also framed the defendant by placing his K-bar sheath at the scene. So was Ann never going to dispute that's my guy's K-bar? But I'm going to dispute how it got in that house. These jackasses stole it. What, lady? And it, there, I, I don't know what to say about her filing right at the moment.
Yeah.
It could have been, you need something more. It really do. You really do need a little bit more there. And as far as excluding guys, a lot of DNA in that house, big parties and such, there's going to be one or two DNAs that are not, how do you identify all of the DNA in that house? Where was the DNA located that was unknown? What was the proximity to the bodies in the house? Where that DNA came from, the unknown sample matters. And how close it was to the crime scene itself. And I'm telling you right now, Kohberger said he did it, and if Kohberger didn't do it by himself, he's perfectly willing to go down alone. And I'm going to let him do just that. I'm not trying to figure out who the hell helped this guy, because I honestly don't care. And if Dylan helped him, he helped Dylan. However y'all want to play it, he did it for a reason, and one day maybe he'll tell that reason. Until Kohberger comes out and talks, there's going to be a lot of unanswered questions. But I don't have a doubt in my mind the guy did it. And I don't think he was railroaded or anything. I mean, hell, we got that one crazy guy over there. He's online screaming, hey, I was an informant for the FBI. I got found out. They unalived these people. And now I'm being accused. The guy's out there saying it. So if Kohberger secretly worked for the FBI and secretly did all these things, and they're just sticking him in a hole to protect the government, then someone should be shouting that from the rooftops. We're so over the conversation. It's like it's no brainer at some point. Like it irritates me a little bit. So I try to ignore it, but when I don't feel good, it's like, good God Almighty, good Lordy, Lordy, Lordy.
Yep. Let's see. Next document.
Yep. Let me get my screen pulled back up here. Now that was like something bit me on my back last night. I walked outside to get a little fresh air, and I was like, no, I'm not. Yeah, I got bit by something. A little thing itched me today. Okay. So that was our alternate perpetrator
I think June 9th is where we're at. The order granting the defense something,
Let me
analysis of
here.
evidence.
Analysis of the evidence. So
Oh,
we just
defense expert, yeah.
yeah, this is where we looked at the document earlier. They were granted in the chain of custody and all that. So this is the redacted order. Let's see. Let me
Okay.
get my screen back up. And is the mixture on the mixture of DNA on the sheath is going to come from the victims. So the DNA from the sheath itself was single source male DNA, Brian Kohberger. There's nobody else's DNA on that sheath. Any unidentified DNA is going to be found elsewhere in the home.
Yeah, that sheath was pretty clean.
Yep. And having your DNA on a sheath under a victim is pretty big. And they only played around. They toyed with the idea of saying it was planted, then backed out of that whole idea real quick, like Friday Filer J coming in hot. All right. I'll never forget when he filed that document on a Friday evening. All right. Order granting the defense analysis of evidence. And then again, why was this whole damn thing redacted? The court having before it the motion for independent analysis and good cause appearing now, and therefore it is hereby ordered that the aforementioned evidence shall be made available to the defense expert, redacted by the Moscow Police Department. And that's all that really was. They're going to FedEx it over there to him. Mr. I reserve the right to change my mind later. But it was specifically, they were looking at the Acer laptop and the Samsung phone belonging to Kohberger. And we saw the chain of custody on all that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me get the... And as more of these documents become unsealed, maybe we'll learn a little bit more about the mysterious DNAs throughout the house. And it won't put people's questions to rest. It'll just give them more to talk about. All right, so... Okay, that was the order on the defense expert analysis. And that was on... I'm going to turn my page here so I can keep up with what we're doing. All right. I'm going to lose my little pen to my phone if I don't put it up.
June 12th states motion to amend witness list and supplemental expert disclosures.
Yeah. Let me grab that one. Okay. Motion to amend the witness list and supplemental expert disclosures comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney respectfully moves the court for permission to amend the state's witness list and to supplement previously filed expert disclosure by adding Dr. Christian Westring as a potential expert witness. The state makes this motion to add the above referenced witness to testify about an issue that the state believed had been resolved. Namely, the defendant was found not to be a contributor to a DNA mixture under one of the victim's nails. The state proposed a stipulation to this effect, but the defendant informed the state he will not stipulate because he prefers to present testimony about this fact. Thus, the state will likely need to call Dr. Christian Westring to testify about the DNA mixture so that the jury can understand the state's position and not be misled into believing that there is a factual dispute where none exist. On February 24th, 2025, defendant filed a motion in limine re inconclusive data. This motion centered around a DNA mixture found under victim Madison Mogan's fingernail. Remember that report? Item number 13.1, and the Idaho State Police Forensic Lab's ISP lab conclusion that it was inconclusive whether the defendant was a contributor to this mixture. Dr. Westring explained in his affidavit that conclusion is a result of limitations imposed on ISP lab by staff by certain internal policies, but the state did not intend to argue or imply the defendant was a contributor to the mixture, and it has maintained this position since the issue was raised. So they've never been able to rule out that it was or wasn't. It's just inconclusive. And I guess if the defense was afraid the state would come out and say, oh, it was. So they're got to have these experts. Thus, the state retained Westring to review the DNA testing and computational analysis of the data in response to the defendant's motion. On April 7th, 2025, the state filed an affidavit for Westring, and it's attached as Exhibit S1. In summary, Dr. Westring opined that there is no published standard that dictates how to determine analytical thresholds. ISP concluded that the analysis was inconclusive with regards to Brian Kohberger in accordance with their published standard operating procedures. And based on Westring's independent analysis, Kohberger was excluded as potential contributor from 13.1. This motion was heard by the court on April 9th of 2025. The court has issued an order on April 18th, ruling the defendant's motion was denied as moot. On May 9th, the state sent the following proposed stipulation of facts to the defense. A DNA sample taken from underneath a fingernail of Madison Mogen contained a mixture of DNA from 3 individual contributors. Madison Mogen and Kaylee Gonzalez were identified as 2 of the 3 contributors. Defendant Kohberger was excluded as a mixture. So again, if they can pinpoint who that jacket belonged to, they might can figure out who the third DNA was. Doesn't mean anything, but the proposed stipulation is attached. So what they were arguing about was if they were going to come out and say in court that it was or wasn't his DNA. A month later, on Sunday, June 8th, the state emailed the defense counsel regarding the proposed stipulation, since the state had not received a response to the above proposal. On June 9th, the defense counsel informed the state they would not agree to the stipulation so that the defendant could present testimony on the issue. What would he want to present if the state's saying, we excluded you? What's the problem?
Someone doesn't know how to take no for an answer.
Apparently, he's like, that's not good enough saying I'm excluded.
Right,
What, dude? Can we focus on the sheath DNA then? What the hell? Based on the above, it appears it may now become necessary for the state to call Dr. Westring as an expert witness in the state's case in chief to ensure that the jury understands the state's position that the defendant is not a contributor to the DNA mixture, and also understands why the ISP lab's reported results was described as inconclusive. If the state cannot call Dr. Westring, the jury would be left with the misperception that the state sought to suggest the defendant could be a contributor. How, if you got up there and said, we don't think he was a contributor, then how are they going to misconstrue that? Is Anne going to imply that you implied it was? That's a whole waste of damn time. Okay, they're going to aggravate me, y'all. And again, why was that even redacted and sealed? More bullshit. Oh, dang it. I'm not trying to watch YouTube. I'm trying to look at documents.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe because of, the expert was identified and whatnot. I don't know. I don't remember if he was identified before, though. I think he was.
I think he was.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I mean, if the state's not going to imply that's Kohberger's DNA, what is Kohberger fighting about over there then? What has he got a motion in limine about it? Why does he need to call an expert to dispute it if they're not saying it's his DNA? That's odd. But hey, you do you, Ann Taylor. Waste the court's time and paper them to death. All right, moving on. So we should be up to the court. Let's see. Defendant's reply to state's objection to the defendant's offer of proof. This one came down on 6/13. I gotta go get a Coca-Cola. So, so Othram got sent the actual sheath. So didn't it go to ISP first
Yeah,
and
they
they
had it
lift
first.
the profile? Yeah, and then Othram got the DNA profile, right? Not the actual sheath.
Yeah, I think so. Not 100% sure, but yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
I believe that's how that
I need
happens.
a Coke too. I'm starting to get sleepy.
I know, right? I'm like food, nap. We're not going to get through all of these today,
I
guys.
didn't sleep last night, so
Yeah, I figured you didn't. I was yeah, all well, I just slept whenever all weekend. It was one of those kind of weekends, not feeling good. But yeah, I feel some food and I wanted potato soup, but guess when I wanted it? About 12:30 last night. I was like, I'm not getting up making no damn potato soup.
oh wow.
I know. It's like I was laying there thinking, man, that would really be good right now. Where's my mom? I wanted my mommy. Anyway, all right, well, go grab your Coke, hun.
Oh, I
Welcome.
thought you were getting one.
Oh, I'll go get mine real quick. Welcome in, Firefly. I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, sorry. I'm sitting here yawning like crazy. I don't know how much longer I'm going to last. Loaded baked potato soup. Oh yeah, that's nice. Actually, wait a minute. Oh, good new docs. Oh, not really, not yet. Except for there was one thing in some of the stuff about the DNA that I noticed. They're talking about those DNA samples from Maddie's door, like the blood on Maddie's door or whatever. Um, Testing that against a bunch of different, well, the alternate perpetrators and different people. So I was like, wait a minute, then that's not their blood, the girl's blood on the door? Or actually, did the doc say it came from the blood? They just said DNA samples on the door. Do you think maybe, well, no, I was going to say he would have been gloved up. I was going to say, did he touch the doorknob or something? But no, he would have been gloved up, don't you think? I don't know. I'm sorry. I think I'm getting to my delirious lack of sleep phase. Yeah, actually, I do have some granola, like right behind me. I guess I could do that. Thanks for the suggestion. Okay, here she comes.
Okay, I'm here. Okay. I love loaded baked potato soup. Yes. Mm. Choose something crunchy, it wakes you up.
Yeah, I'm like super sleepy right this
It's like
second, but
don't you
yeah.
hate when it hits you all at once? You're like, "Huh?"
Mhm.
Like, that's why I feel after I eat sometimes, I'm like, "I have to go lay down now." I just ate, like
That's what it was. I went and got
oh, yeah, you
steak,
went and
egg,
got
and cheese
breakfast.
bagel. That's
Mhm.
exactly what it was.
She got that food early this morning, I'm like she's, like, in the car, I'm like, "What are you doing?" "I'm getting food." I just got
I know.
up.
I feel like I'm in a food coma now.
I hate when that happens, but I do it all the time. Alright. Like, some days it's like all I wanna do is eat, like, what am I gonna eat next? What am I eat and take a nap, eat and take a nap. Alright. Let me take this, medication, guys, one second. This cold
Oh, got a
medicine.
goody powder.
Yeah, yeah, cold medicine and goodies. I don't know when
Oh,
actually, I
yeah.
took 2 cold tablets earlier, so I gotta wait a couple hours, but, I do feel better from taking them, so but
That's good.
alright. Yeah. Yeah, they help.
The DNA on the door. Let me go back to the document.
With the DNA on Maddie's door.
Yeah, was that blood or was that? Did they specifically say blood or it just
It
said DNA on her
it
door?
said DNA, but when from the photos that we see, there is a blood drop on the door.
Right, but they could have also swabbed the door, like say the
Yeah,
doorknob
like
or
you
something.
gotten,
But
yeah, skin
you
cells or anything.
you would think he would have had gloves on, though. You
I
know.
think so too. I don't see him walking in barehanded, um, with just no gloves. I don't see that happening.
Hmm. Let me see.
That's why I'm not so sure that nick on the, whatever that band-aid is on his finger. I'm like, if he had on gloves, how thick and good were these gloves? What type of gloves? Did he just walk in there with his slippery ass latex gloves on? Those, I mean, those wouldn't get a good grip when things get wet. Um,
Yeah.
so, and then I go back to all the clothing that we researched on that one website that you could wear to protect yourself from being cut.
Right.
Like, remember the gloves? There were gloves and stuff like that. If you guys ever worked in a restaurant, you know what metal gloves are. Those are so big and bulky, you can't. I couldn't even wear them in the restaurant because I got tiny hands. I'm like, these big old chain gloves does not work for little old late, petite people at all.
Hmm.
But that they had better, way better gloves than that available on that website. They look like regular gloves, but you can't cut through them. Um,
Hmm.
Far different than the metal gloves you use in the restaurant. Okay, so this is the alternator.
Hmm.
Like, I can't even. Defendant's reply to the state's objection to the defendant's offer of proof. Alternate perps and defendant's evidence in support of offer of proof. So the defense is like, we're coming back. Okay. Sorry, I had to move my cat. She tried to jump all up in my lap. All right. I'm getting her a new cat thingy to play on. Maybe she'll leave me alone a little bit. This thing comes out of nowhere. I can be on my bed trying to go to sleep, and out of nowhere, she bolts from under my bed and jumps on top of me. It freaks me out every time. I can't with the dog don't do that. Well, the
Yeah.
dog don't get in my bed. She's so big. She looks, she wants to so bad.
Hmm.
She's like, you let that cat up there. Why can't I?
Pipsqueak has stairs to get up on the bed because the
I can
bed's too tall
imagine.
for her.
I imagine Pipsqueak having stairs. The queen. Oh, let me bow to her, because Pipsqueak's got to have some damn stairs. You got handrails and all. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's cute. Um, yeah, I went on Amazon and looked, and they have one for like $20, a little cat condo. I'm not a
Hmm.
cat person. Like, this is all new to me. Whatever. I've had her for about, oh well, probably a year now. Like, I'm thinking, what can I do with this cat? Okay, so I made her a little window seat in front of the window. She really enjoys that, because she doesn't go outside. But yeah, I'm getting her this cat house. It's coming. It's only like $20. I'm like, it better work.
Hmm.
Because I took this old, I had a chair sitting in my room that I brought from my brother's house, and I would sit in it and watch the horses out the window. Well, I used to love to sit in that chair by the window. Well, in this house, it was near the window, but I just didn't use it like I did before. But the cat thought it was her cat scratching thingy or whatever. So when I took the chair out last week, I was like, "Oh shit, what's this cat gonna scratch on now?"
Hmm.
And I caught her trying to scratch on things I don't want her to scratch on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was like, "Oh, hold up, that's not gonna work." So yeah, I
That's
had a
exactly the reason why I probably wouldn't have a cat, you know.
yeah. She always kept it to that chair,
Hmm.
always. So I figure if I get her a cat condo house thingy, go do your cat thing, whatever. All right, enough of that. So comes now Brian Kohberger, through his attorneys of record, hereby responds to the state's objection to their offer of proof. Um, Defendant's evidence in support of offer of proof of alternate perps filed June 6, 2025, state's objection. Whether rooted directly in the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment or in the compulsory process or confrontation clauses of the Sixth Amendment, the Constitution guarantees criminal defendants a meaningful opportunity to present a complete defense. And then she cites the case of Crane versus Kentucky. The error excluding such evidence is reviewed de novo on appeal, U.S. Versus Shryock. Due process rules trump evidentiary rules. When reserving its ruling on the state's motion in limine, re alt perps evidence, the court stated the defendant cannot merely show another person could have committed the crime. Rather, there must be evidence, direct or circumstantial, linking the third person to the actual perpetrator or perpetration of the crime. No nexus, as Judge Gull would say. 2. Clifford S. Fishman and Ann Tooney McKenna Jones on order memorializing oral rulings on motions in limine was 41825. The state has listed and then redacted as trial witnesses. The state has also disclosed and labeled exhibits that it intends to use at trial, which include the names or actual video of these witnesses. These exhibits include, and that's redacted, each of these alternative perpetrators identified by the defendant and listed as witnesses by the state, and more closely tied in knowledge and opportunity, and possible motive to the crime that Mr. Kohberger, opportunity and possible motive to the crime than Mr. Kohberger. All 4 of the alternate perps are linked circumstantially or directly to the crime. Moreover, given Mr. Well, kind of like your client, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hmm.
Okay. Kohberger's expert disclosures that more than one person committed the crimes. Other evidence supports the defense's theory that Kohberger is not the person and the crimes were committed by more than one person. In fact, the expert that they were going to call in to say it would have taken more time absolutely was not allowed to testify in another case. Anyway, defendants offer of kind of like Cyree. Defendants, I don't know where Ann gets her experts from. The Cracker Jack box, the Temu people, I don't know. Defendants offer of proof in part arises from the state's motion in limine, alt perp evidence filed February 25th or 21st, 2025. On page 2 of that motion, the state argued in this case, during the course of the investigation, literally thousands of tips regarding possible perpetrators were received by law enforcement. With the exception of information regarding the defendant, none of these tips were substantiated. While it is true there are thousands of tips, somewhere in the range of 45,000 to 75,000, and then they continue daily. The state chose to present evidence of investigations into specific named individuals and the conclusion that the state has ruled out these possible perpetrators. The state's purported diligence in ruling out possible perpetrators, especially those with close connections to the victims, is an issue that the state is putting front and center at trial in its own case in chief. Mr. Kohberger has the right to confront this evidence. The state argues that the evidence submitted in the offer of proof is inadmissible, as explained above. Much of it the state seeks to admit in its case in chief. More importantly, in Chambers v. Mississippi, the United States Supreme Court held that a defendant's constitutional rights to a fair trial and to present a defense sometimes requires admission of evidence of third-person culpability, even in the face of evidence rules that it would exclude it. Hearsay may be admissible in such cause. What hearsay does she... Oh, ma'am. Hearsay may be admissible in such cases because the 6th and 14th Amendment rights of due process to confront and cross-examine witnesses. Right, and they're going to give her that opportunity. If they're going to call them as state witnesses, and she absolutely has the right to confront and cross-examine. I still don't know
Right, cross-examine. She can't open the door unless the state opens the door, though.
Right, the state has to open the door, but they're
On what she wants to. So yeah.
right. I don't know what she'd ask them. Did you kill them, or do you know what, ma'am? Or What kind of question is that? Fairness and trustworthiness of the evidence are important. Mr. Kohberger's proffer includes details that allow this court to see there is trustworthiness to his basis for naming four alternate perps. The court cannot consider the weight, the strength, the conclusions. So I was reading the footnote. Forensic evidence existed but could still be refuted by third party perp evidence of a person in the neighborhood. It was reversible error to exclude it. The police reports and tips submitted as exhibits in the offer of proof are documents that provide basis to show a link to the case that is more than speculation and grounds that explain the subject of cross-examination or direct examination of the witness. Had she not seen the DNA reports from these people? Has she not read their alibis? Were they all out stargazing too? While the tips themselves may be inadmissible, they are evidence that this court must consider in determining that there is a link and more than mere speculation. Was Kim's daughter the alibi? When evaluating, when evaluating,
No, I remember I just mentioned that story to Jeff H. and everybody else last night. I was like, oh, remember? It was Kim's daughter's friend who had graduated and come back, because her boyfriend was a football
yeah,
player and was playing that weekend, and he was Jack D's alibi at all. You remember all
yeah,
that craziness? I
I
was like,
remember
oh my
they
God.
were at the sorority house, la 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 la, and the story grows taller on down the line.
Oh yeah, down to what was it? Blood on the side of a
Oh my
washing
God, how could I
machine.
forget that?
Yeah.
That got added in there too.
Oh yeah.
Lordy, lordy, lordy. Um,
Nuts.
I haven't seen her name pop up one time in any of these
Me
documents.
either.
Where's her
Mm.
little personal ISP dude that was talking to her, giving her insider information? Remember when she said that?
Oh yeah. Maybe she's on the tip list.
Oh, 50. She's probably that one that called the FBI over and over and over and over.
Oh God.
That's probably her. I'm not joking. When we could do a whole ass show on just that. When evaluating alt perp evidence for the case, link, or nexus, some courts demonstrate a willingness to admit purely circumstantial evidence that a third party committed the crime. Some courts hold that even when the state's evidence is purely circumstantial, the third party culpability must clearly point to a specific third party. Some act connecting the alternate suspect to the crime. So, what is Anne's connection to the crime? That they just knew them? In Jones versus Wood, the Ninth Circuit noted that the evidence in Jones' murder trial was primarily circumstantial in nature and concluded that the state trial judge erred in excluding Jones's circumstantial evidence that an alt suspect committed the crime, whether direct or circumstantial. All of the alternate perpetrator evidence proffered by Kohberger has specifically, and you know what makes it worse that she even attempted this with these people is the fact that he's done pled guilty.
Yeah.
I mean,
She had to do what she had to do. Like,
yeah, she did.
everything that she could to
It's like, okay, there was,
save her client.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I mean, I'm not mad at it. We had a whole ass Frank's motion in the Delphi case that was very 145, 35 pages of juiciness. But then turns out those alternate perpetrators were highly suspicious. And like I said, lost interviews, recorded over, sketchy alibis, a whole lot. Anne's not showing me anything like that in this document that I could even go, wait a minute, to. And I would. If there was something there, I'd go, wait a minute, that's weird. Because I've read a couple of things here and there that were weird, but it doesn't mean I don't think the guy did it. But here, yeah, the fact that she even went through all of this and knowing or with him knowing he did it, right? I don't know when Anne concluded finally he did it.
I told you I want to go back and go over the hearings, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you can see a change, like
Hmm.
gradually her attitude changed,
It did.
in the court and
Like try to
in
gauge
those
a pinpoint
hearings.
where when it happened,
Mhm.
right? Because she certainly did go from "Your Honor, my client is innocent" to sitting there looking totally defeated when he saw at the plea hearing, totally defeated. And I don't know when maybe she finally got all of her evidence. She's like, "Wait a minute, dude, even Ray can't get behind this."
She had also stopped sitting next to him.
Yes, she did. You think he gave her a bad vibe, he gave her a feeling. She got that Kohberger look. Um,
Uh,
she was added to the list. I don't know where
mm,
that you can't sit here and it's hard for me to imagine him not having a conflict with her at some point because of the way we see things playing out with him having conflicts with other women, the testiness, the "are you sure? I'm smarter than you. I think I know more than you." So when you look at the things in his studies, of course, we were looking at the end of the photos the other day, all these different things he knows of and is aware of, and all the filings that she was doing. Even when I was looking at some of that stuff where he's doing papers on jurors and all this, all
mhm.
of a sudden we have this big jury questionnaire thing comes out in the Kohberger case and nobody's ever done before. But here it is happening. So I don't know when did he ever give her a pushback? You know what I mean?
Oh
It was
yeah.
arguments, her saying, "No, this won't work. We can't," this, and him like, "No, you go do it."
Mhm.
I don't know. When did things change?
I mean,
Her
remember they basically wrote that he wasn't like they couldn't he wasn't effective in like helping assisting in
Yes,
his
and
case
that
and
was in
whatnot
one of the
because of
more
his focus issues and whatever with his
right.
autism.
And that was
Mhm.
in one of the more recent filings in the case about his mental health stuff, right?
Mhm.
When she made that statement in there.
Mhm.
So you can tell that he's like he wasn't getting it when she would tell him things like this is overwhelming, this evidence or whatever her strategies were with him. I don't think he was, and then still what prompted him to finally give in, I think that was mother, but I don't know when Anne changed her mind about Kohberger. Because that was a pretty damn strong statement to get up in court and say my guy's innocent. Uh, I don't know if I'd go that far, even if I'm defending him.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes you can't backtrack on what you do say. Okay. Oh, my dog's trying to come back in. I knew she wasn't going to stay out long. All right. So whether direct or circumstantial, all of the alt perp evidence proffered by Kohberger has both specificity of person in connection to the crime, with respect to, and of course, that is all redacted. That is not a thorough investigation. Well, we don't know because we can't see what it says. That is not suspect elimination, as the state argues. With respect to what? It's not a thorough investigation and it's not elimination. Kohberger did not produce these suspects. The state did, and in some instances continued to investigate them or simply stopped their investigation. Did you read that Frank's motion over there in Delphi, Ann? Because I think you did. I thought that from the beginning. The state did, and in some instances continued to investigate them or simply stopped their investigation, ignoring evidence that there was more than one perpetrator. Prosecutor Bill Thompson said he could not rule out two perpetrators from the very beginning, and then they link a news article where he makes that statement. Last reviewed June 6, 2025. Kohberger's offer of proof was not an exhaustive list of all the evidence disclosed in this case that points to four alt perps. In fact, the state's opposition disclosed, and then there's a whole redacted area. By listing these alternative perpetrators' names on their witness list and by listing various exhibits on their exhibit list which pertains to these individuals. The state has opened the door to Mr. Kohberger to confront this evidence and cross examine the witnesses. And yeah, that's what you do. But why would the state be so stupid to call who they think the real killer was to the stand to testify for them? Are we living in an alternate world? Mr. Kohberger suspects that the state has listed the four alternate suspects as a ruse to make it look as if they will put the four males on the stand to deny their involvement. These witnesses must be confronted, and therefore, if the state seeks not to call them to the stand, but instead uses lab reports to portray elimination, meaning their DNA didn't match, the door is open to confront that evidence, and Mr. Kohberger should be allowed to call the alt perps and other witnesses to show their connection to the crime. Well, if the lab report says their DNA didn't match the sheath, what would Anne ask them? I want to know where the DNAs came from exactly. I know they were listing the stairwells and all that. And that's what Anne was citing in her motion, too, was that stairwell blood.
Hmm.
And she said it was never identified in her filing.
Yeah, her filing also said something about three, what was
Three
it? Three
unknown.
male, yeah, unknown male DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So, how each piece of evidence becomes admissible at trial depends on how the state offers it, triggering Mr. Kohberger's right to confront such evidence. Mr. Kohberger must be allowed to develop this evidence, and a ruling excluding or limiting this area of inquiry at this point would be premature. The United States Court ruling in Chambers allows for, and then they redacted that footnote there, part of it. The admission of evidence. The state agrees at a minimum to this confrontation in its objection. The court should allow Mr. Kohberger to present alternate evidence. And I don't know why that was ever redacted to begin with, or not, or released with the redactions that it has now, I mean,
Well, they don't want to, I guess, put people's names out there.
well,
And
what I'm saying, I don't mind, I don't, I can see why they redacted these parts, but why the whole thing in the beginning, the whole entire sealed document.
mhm.
Um, there's no need to redact the whole thing. But I get why they didn't put their names out there. Um, but yeah, that's super interesting. If she had offered any kind of evidence that the judge could have got behind, she'd have got her motion granted, right? But she didn't. And
Nope, she sure didn't.
it just sounds like you're basing it on the fact that they knew them, and that's it. A bunch of people knew them. I guess how well they knew them, how close they lived, all the things. Who knows what goes through her mind, or what was going through her mind as she's writing all that. Was she believing her own bullshit? When did she stop believing it? That's what I wish that she would come out and do an interview.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see if she does do one.
I know it's a hard call. Will she or won't she? I don't know what I don't know what she'd say if she'd come out, how it would benefit her. I don't know how she thinks about that. If she even thinks about it at all. Or is she like, I don't want to talk about that. I'm pretty sure there's probably defense attorneys who would love to talk to her and pick her brain about this case. Okay, so that was our alt perps stuff. Now this one was that closed session, the 618 hearing
Hmm.
that was closed. This is the document on that. Let's pull that up. Okay. J. Ray, you don't think Anne's a bad person? I don't think she's a bad person. She's just a defense attorney. But she come in hot, standing up there saying my guy's innocent.
I believe in Brian's innocence.
Yeah,
We believe in Brian's innocence. They both, her and Massoud, got
yep,
up there, you know, oh,
went hard.
wringing hands and whatnot over this man. And yep.
Public perception. We got to do some damage control. There's some bad things. What little bit of information about Kohberger could be out there, they're trying to make the guy look good, as best they could, I guess. All right, so this is the transcript of the closed hearing. And remember that one document we were reading when Hitler was putting out the redactions of and they mentioned this, and there was 2 blocks of time they were redacting from this, and they did. All right, so this is a sealed section, starts at 125, because before that they had an open hearing, and then they closed it for the alt-perp part. Okay. At 1:25:06 p.m., the state versus Kohberger alternate perps. Court minute resumes. All parties previously present. This portion is closed. Judge Hippler, we are here for the alternate perpetrator argument. After would like to discuss the concerns, demands that have been made related to the so-called investigation. That's going to be the Dateline leak investigation. And then just some trial miscellaneous stuff. Let's start with the alt-perp arguments. Up for the defense was Ms. Massoth. She says, we submitted material and briefing, so unless you have specific questions, I don't know that there is much difference between the state's position and our position. Does the court have any specific questions? The judge says he doesn't have any specific questions. And the defense says, my understanding of the state's position is if they don't have a problem with us confronting this evidence, and to the extent that we do throughout the trial, we will do that step by step. If there is a development by the end, we would ask the court for an alternate perpetrator instruction. We will also discuss that then. We have absolutely no intention of using those words in opening statement. And the judge says, let's find out what the state's position is. I, too, was curious in their briefing as to the statement. They have no objection to confrontation and cross-examination, which, of course, they have, but then the question becomes scope. And then Bill Thompson chimes in for the state. I think we may be dealing a bit with an issue of semantics. State views alternate perp evidence as being very defined category. Defendant will argue that he didn't do it and that this particular person did it. Defense does not have factual basis to make that kind of argument. They have provided general information that they might ask investigators about the deal with the scope of the investigation, but not to the point to justify them pointing to a particular person, saying that that's an alternate perp. Looking at the defense most recent filing, response to the state's objection, there is mention of the defense theory that there might be more than one perpetrator. That is not alternate perpetrator evidence. They are welcome to cross-examine the scope and the quality of the investigation. So Ann just going to come in and say, well, we think that 2 people would have had to have been present. That's not. But they should be directed that they cannot focus or direct the jury to say this other person has the other person or this other person is the person who committed the crimes. Wow, there are a lot of back and forth. All right. So now the defense counsel, Massoth, is saying, I want to clarify 2 reasons why there was a statement about there could be more. One being that we have not looked at all of the tip evidence that is coming in, which is just ginormous amount. We wouldn't just surprise you. We know you don't like surprises. When it comes to other things with regard to the numbers beyond 4, I think that the court has seen in the exhibits the number of people who have been examined for DNA. There are some people whose DNA was extracted and comparisons were made, and there is a whole other group that are on the state's exhibits where the DNA samples were taken but were never developed into an extraction for comparison purposes. I don't know whose DNA samples they took that they did not develop into extractions. People
Yeah,
that
that's
weren't maybe extremely close to the victims, like out. I don't know. How many people can you swab for DNA? Everybody that came in contact with them that weekend? I mean, what? So I don't know what she's
I mean, but why extract it and not, like, test it or whatever?
exactly. Right. Um, I I wonder about that
Mm-hmm.
as to why they didn't, if that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Also, names I think we will know if they develop over the course of the case and how people are coming in. Whether it's in the form of initials or if it's in the form of names or if they're putting these people they have listed on the stand and it's very clear that their names are. We have discussion of what's fair game in closing argument. I will leave it at that. Mr. Thompson comes in and says, what Ms. Massop just said is exactly what we are concerned about. And we ask the court direct that they make an appropriate proffer to justify whoever they want to claim as an alternate perp to take the position if they develop during trial. It defeats the entire purpose. A lot of this sounds like bullshit to me. If you let the defense come in and accuse one single person, and then the prosecution go back and tell them why they didn't, how they ruled them out. You know what I mean? It's like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like there's a lot of back and forth about this that I feel like the defense knows they're wasting time with. To take because there's a lot of word salad going on here. To take the position if they develop during trial defeats the entire purpose of the motion in limine and leaves it wide open and subject to attack or ambush during the course of trial. And we believe that's inappropriate. And the judge says, I did give a deadline for the alt perps to be identified and developed. So, did Ann not even have names in the beginning? Just lab reports of untested DNA, undeveloped DNA, things of that nature. So they're like, give us the names, see if they match up. She's got all the names of the DNAs that were tested. I did give a deadline. Okay, apart from whatever my ruling is with regard to those 4 individuals, anyone else, it would have to be before anything is brought to the jury and be extraordinary showing of good cause as to why. So were they planning on maybe mentioning other people also as alternate perps throughout the development of the trial, right? Not just these 4, but hell, every Tom, Dick, and Harry we look at. Like,
Yeah, I think they were just trying to, prevent them from being slick, during the
exactly.
trial.
I
Hmm.
agree with that. Okay, so I would have to look at all of the relevant factors, including prejudice at the point to the state for not having brought that forward in light of the deadlines set by the court. I suppose during trial, if somebody confesses, that's a different situation. I'm not holding out hope or belief that that's going to happen, but I suppose you never know.
Oh, Hitler.
He says, I
I'm gonna
want
miss him.
to know, he says, I want to be clear. I will issue a ruling, but I'm going to tell you that I don't find the defense has submitted anywhere near sufficient evidence to get beyond rank speculation that these individuals were in any way involved in the crime. And then a redacted couple of sentences here, but that is nowhere near tying them to the crime itself. The reason I wanted to have this hearing and the reason I wanted to seal it is because I'm not inclined to allow counsel to go out and try to destroy reputations of people without any foundation to do so. Before there is any suggestion to the jury that a specific named individual was involved in this case, I better hear about it first. Whoa.
Hmm.
Defense is entitled to cross-examine the scope of the state's investigation and thoroughness of the investigation and reasonableness of the investigation. Certainly, questions may potentially come about why you didn't do this and why you didn't do that from the officers. Where we may get more tenuous is when we start getting into collateral information about individuals. Oops. I can understand that a claimed motive might be important as it relates to the reasonableness of the investigations. I understand that a claimed motive might be important as it relates to reasonableness of the investigation. Provides examples. I want to be clear that that if it is offered at all. And then this whole section from the judge is redacted. And then defense counsel Barlow was up and it was redacted, whatever the judge
Yeah.
said back. This is that one whole block about the alt perps that they took out.
It's got to be about the DNA or whatever. If
Hmm.
Barlow's
Yeah, because Bicka Barlow was
talking.
up there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Barlow's up for the defense. That's Bicka Barlow. She's their DNA expert attorney. Um, Jesus, they blocked out their whole conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. So back at 2:07, they come back on. The judge says, I wanted to talk to you about the summons that went out to the jurors. As these things go, the TCA has received a call from a reporter that says, hey, I got a summons to show up on the 21st. Is this for this case? Of course, the TCA didn't tell him anything. Begs the question. Seems to me that we can save everybody a lot of headaches. And I know that in the Daybell case, I think that something similar happened. The reporter reported on their experience as a juror before they had been excused as a potential juror. My suggestion is if that I see red flags like that, to let you know and let you know and see if you both would agree to taking them off the list. Save ourselves headaches down the line. That's not somebody who should be on our jury. I want to bring that to your attention and see if there's
Mm-mm.
any concern with that one, with the one that I'm aware of, which is Ms. Romero, and having her taken off the juror list. So she was a local
Wonder what
reporter.
she did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says as things go, TCA has received a call from a reporter that said, hey, I got a summons to show up on the 21st. And then he says something similar happened in the Daybell case, and the reporter reported on their experience as a juror before they had been excused. So that, yeah, they're getting her out of there. I don't know what she did though. Certainly no concerns from the state. Bill Thompson says the defense says no objection to taking her off the list, Your Honor. All right, I got to go let this dog in before she rips the back door off.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Mm. Which document is this? I think I might have it up. I could just, how many pages? 15 pages. No, maybe I don't have it open.
Okay.
Nope, I did not. Okay. I thought about trying to read it really quick while you were gone, but I don't have it open.
Okay, I was looking at the chat real quick too. All right. Um, discussion with counsel regarding demands from the media, kicking around a request to allow a still photographer. My thought is openings, closings, and verdict. There is some reasonable argument that getting still photos can be difficult. Does anybody have a problem with that? The state says, I think the media should consider themselves fortunate. Really, Bill?
Mm.
That's,
Bill said he's doing you guys a favor.
yeah, buddy. That said, the state does not have any objection to what the court has just outlined, shares concerns regarding witnesses. The judge says that will not be permitted to photograph. They will not be permitted to photograph the victims. Remember, that came down on one of the judge's orders as well about the still photographs. Okay, so Taylor chimes in and she says, while we have witnesses who would not be classified as victims, they're vulnerable. The photographers would not be here for any witness testimony, only for openings, closings, and verdict. That's what the judge is telling them. And then Ann Taylor says, aside from that, I want to weigh in a little bit on a media pulled camera. The media had access to the courtroom when we started, and the court could review some of the issues that were had. That's why the court's live streaming started. The judge says, I'm not going to go away from that. I'm not going to give a video camera controlled by the media. The video that comes out will be controlled by the court on the court's own channel. Taylor says, one issue with still photography, cameras are really good now. They could read my screen, express a confidentiality concern. I would raise those concerns. Y'all raised that back in
I
Laytown County,
know. I'm like, why is she talking about this again?
right? We
Hmm.
don't care about what's on your computer, ma'am. Well, we do, but we don't. Can, I can tell them they can't use or take photographs that might show counsel's work, just like they did back in Laytown County. If I were to do it, that would be included in the things that they can't do. And Taylor says, I like the sketch artists a lot. Well, ma'am, they've only been used, what, 100 years in court? I don't know how long they've been using them. Once those photographs are captured, we don't want cartoon character people, though. Those get out, and the court's ability to control that evaporates. Once those photos are captured, those get out. Yeah, the court can't control what a photograph that goes out to the public, ma'am. Y'all quit making your weird AI stuff because Anne's going to say we can't have no photos. I could have them potentially seated, he says, the judge says, so they don't have that angle. It's a big courtroom. It would have to be a way that they don't have that angle. I will think about that and let you know. If I do allow it, it will be a way that is discreet and ensuring no victims or jurors or attorney's work product is shown. And then the judge says, I want to talk to you about the schedule. So what I think we are looking at this point, week of the 21st, Monday through Friday, for questionnaires. You should be getting those each day. Now remember, they were gearing up to go to trials. They were getting ready to get their jury selection underway.
Hmm.
We would have a closed court session on the 29th, as long as it takes that week to go through as many questionnaires that we felt needed to go through before we are comfortable starting. Hopefully, being able to agree that the obvious non starters so that we don't waste everybody's time in bringing them in. We would then start bringing jurors in on the 4th for voir dire, continuing the week of the 4th through the 11th. And the 11th, the idea that hopefully starting trial around the week of the 18th, which would have been what, last month.
Now I see why Hitler was so like pissy, for lack of a better term,
Mm-hmm.
when the change of plea came in, and he didn't know anything about it, because they're literally, what date is on this document? They're literally talking about all this stuff like days before, I think
Yeah,
they did all this. So yeah, I can see why he was mad.
me too. And it's like that one trial I was just looking, what was it? The Adelson. There was something going on there, and the judge was like, look, this is why we have pre-trial hearings,
Hmm.
to sort all this out. Don't come in the courtroom during trial and be, oh, put the brakes on. No. And they did that over and over and over and over and over in Karen Reed, to the point where I got disgusted. It's like all them damn sidebars. Y'all supposed to figure all that out beforehand. That's what the judge is like. Keep this on track. Anybody have a problem with that schedule other than the defense's concerns that we will not be able to go as quickly as I think we can? Having watched the process twice in Vallow and Daybell, also shocked about how little the people know. I am convinced there are a lot of people out there who may have heard of Kohberger, but that's probably about it. We are far more attuned to the coverage of the case because that is the position from which we view the world. Exactly. And that was the way Judge Boyce found. I hope that this is the case, apart from this issue. Right? Not everybody in the world knew who Lori Vallow Daybell was, or Chad Daybell.
Oh yeah.
And not everybody knows who Brian Kohberger is. Or contrary to popular belief, there's people out there who do not know who the hell this guy is. And they do not care about your true crime, whatever. Counsel for defense, Taylor. I think that pushing it out is appropriate. Inquires of the court as to how it's going to work and when we get to the time when the panels are coming in. And we are going to ask the media questions and when we'll do and when we will do some of the death questions. And the judge says, in some ways we are inventing as we go. We should have some idea from the juror questionnaires. Anne should have a lot. She sent out a whole survey a long time ago. Her questions should be ready to go. Should have been anyway. We should have some idea from the juror questionnaires where they have had media exposure. Yeah, because they ask them. One of the things that I would tell the panels is that I know they have filled out the questionnaires, and some of you have indicated that you know something about the case. I'm going to ask you not to talk about that right now. There will be a private session where, if necessary, we will talk to potential jurors in private. That way we don't contaminate other jurors. Exactly. What have you heard? What do you exactly know? That way you don't fill in the other people. The idea is that we will get through most of the typical juror questions in the panel format. If you want to go into death qualifications, you can. If you want to wait until they're individual, you can. For example, if they answer the question that they favor the death penalty, but could look at the case and the instructions of the court and decide it based on that, there may be some room to explore that in front of everybody without a problem. In terms of a question regarding graphic evidence and somebody raises their hands and says they have had an experience, but they don't feel comfortable talking about it, we can talk about it in private. After we get through these folks, most of whom, if there's a concern apart from the media thing as that results in them being removed, we remove them, and then we don't have to question them individually. We save time that way. Then we do the individual part. Remember, he's overlooked everything Judge Boyce ever did in the Daybell and Vallow cases. And then Taylor says, that makes sense to me. We can do regular bias, just not media bias and feelings about the death penalty. Are you going to want us to do for cause challenges while they are sitting in the jury box? And the judge says, if the basis comes up during the course of the panel selection for which you would like to move for cause, I may turn and say, does the state have any questions? I might say, I agree, and then we are probably done. They may want to ask a question and see if that clarifies the answer that is the problem that you raised. I would like you to make those objections while they are still here, so I can ask follow-up questions if I need to. If you move to strike them for cause, I don't strike them, and then we have the individual session and more stuff comes up. You can raise the motion to strike again based on the additional information. They will be here when you move to strike. That's pretty typical. I do my best to insulate you from any hard feelings with respect to that. Taylor says, may I do it at the end of the questioning of the panel? The judge says yes before you stop questioning the panel. Taylor says just towards the end, and the judge replies yes, but remember, my memory is not as good as it used to be. It's helpful if you do it as contemporaneous as the issues come up. I will have a better recall of the answers that they give. I will have real time, but it's kind of a pain to scroll back and find things. Taylor says, the question is the size of the panel. Do group questionings. Oh my goodness. Request a panel of 10. We believe we can be sufficient and timely. The judge says, I was thinking about 15. I think Judge Boyce used 16. 15 is a nice even number. It helps him keep track of the math as they go along. The more that we can move through and weed out, the faster we can get a jury. So Anne says, we will give it our best shot and be as efficient as we can. The judge says, if we find it's too big, we can reduce it. If we find it's not big enough, we can increase it. And then the judge says, anything else on that? The defense says, will we jury select in our regular trial courtroom? He says, yes, I think it will be in 400s. They're just going on and on and on about their jury. Okay. The judge says, It will either be in front of 2 rows of the jury box. Okay. And then the judge says, I have looked at your objections. I have made some changes based on them. I haven't made others based on them. It's already getting heavier in items of number of questions and length of it than I wanted it to be. A bit circumspect about breaking up things into essentially asking the same sets of questions 5 different times, right? I'm trying to be as neutral as I can about the questions that I have. That's currently where we stand with the jury questionnaires, provides copies and questionnaires to counsel. The judge says, I intend to give the jurors specific written admonition about their obligations in terms of looking at the media so they can have a piece of paper to remind them of what they can and can't do. It's just a more explicit version of standard instructions. So they're going on about the jury instructions about how you can't look at the media. Taylor says, on the juror questionnaire, I know that I provided an objection and some other ideas. One thing I failed to do is on question 50. It talks about feelings about the death penalty, but it doesn't list life without parole. Request that life without parole be plugged into the question that just say death penalty. Further discussion with the court. You would
Oh,
think there's
yeah.
some sort of standard questionnaire type thing for death penalty cases, right? About your feelings on the death penalty and subsequent questions that may follow that. There would be a formula for that, right? And this is not her first death penalty case. So she should have her formula pretty down pat. But then here comes Kohberger in with his new formula for juror selection. I got books, Ann Taylor. I just read them, in fact. This is what my book says. Let's try it. All right. The judge says, I'm going to have a video film with me reading an instruction to them. In that, I explain the charges in the indictment. I also explain that it's a death penalty case. We'll explain about the separate proceeding if found guilty of one or more of the counts of murder and what that looks like. So I explain the sentencing ramifications to them in the video that they will see. I had to clear my throat, sorry. Uh-oh, I gotta get this. Hey, my screen won't go bigger where I can see what the hell I'm doing. Let me get this, slide this over. There we go. Okay.
I was going to say, yeah, it's not moving.
I got confused for a moment. All right. So the judge is going to explain everything on video. She said, Ann Taylor says, wants to make sure a questionnaire includes both possibilities instead of the death penalty. The judge says, what are you trying to find out? What we are trying to find out is if they have an attitude about the death penalty, not necessarily about life without parole. I haven't heard that's something we have to specifically ask about. I could be wrong. And Taylor says, kind of the other side of the same coin, essentially. The judge says, if you see something you want to add, you certainly propose it and I'll look at it. And says, thank you for that. I will do that. We will be able to take a look at the video the court's going to put together. And the judge says, I will send you a copy of the script. She says, thank you. He says, I'll send you a copy of the script, but not my video. She says, thank you. He says, all right, anything else? And she says, no. The state has nothing else and says, thank you. The judge says, my law clerk points out the state had a motion to supplement with Dr. Westring. In light of the defense's non-stipulation, I didn't assume the defense would have an objection. I'm assuming that's not a problem. The defense says, no objection, thank you, and they went under recess. All right, let me get that one down. Ooh. All right. So that was our closed court minutes document.
Yep.
Let me see. You got a 25-pound cat, J Ray? Holy hell. Mine don't weigh that much. If it jumped on me like that, Lordy, a 25-pound cat. What kind of cat you got, ma'am? Can you? There's some pretty big cats out there, I guess.
Yeah, I've seen some on YouTube. Like
What is that?
little.
Those Maine Coon cats? They get
Yeah.
really big.
Mm-hmm.
There was some sort of predator out there lurking for a while. I would catch it with the spotlight. I could see its eyes. That one time I found it in the tree and it was just standing there staring at me. It would chase the outside kitties sometimes because I could hear it. I'd go out the door and I've only seen it like 3 times, and then I didn't see it for the longest time. But when I caught a glimpse of it, I could never tell exactly what this thing was. My neighbors suggested the Maine Coon cat or whatever. I don't know. I looked it up and it doesn't look like what I saw. I don't know what the hell that was I saw out there trying to attack my poor cat. But I know it got in that tree that one night, and when put the spotlight up there, it was staring at me. I was like, "Holy shit! This thing come down and get me." All right, let's get to the next document, and this one is the 25th, 18th. Okay. Exhibit S1 states response to the 24th request for supplemental discovery. Lordy, lordy. And again, I've written down these numbers here as well, the different
Mm-hmm.
evidence stuff. There was some more stuff that I got to get my shit together tonight. I got some stuff that I reviewed over the weekend that we need to talk about, but we'll maybe do that on tomorrow's show. Like thoughts keep popping into my mind of different things I reviewed over the weekend. All right, so let's look at this one. This is state's response to defendant's 24 supplemental request for discovery, and this one is about Exhibit W, and of course the state's response is in blue. And this one pertains to the DoorDash driver. You guys all know that, well, maybe if you don't know, so there was a DoorDash delivery that night, right, or that morning, and Xana got the DoorDash, and we've seen the footage now where Molly's out there walking around with her flashlight. Then a few months ago, we also saw that the video was released on YouTube about her DUI and what she said about parking next to Kohberger. So this is all pertaining to Molly. 441 copy, and this is what the defense requested. Copy of all arrest reports, charging documents, and videos for Molly Marie McMichael, and then redacted, from June 1 through May 31st. The state has compiled or complied with video portion of this request and has provided the following. And they give the AV number, the body worn camera dates. There's 2 dates. Notice that 9/4 and 9/5. What was the date on the body cam video of the DUI?
DUI.
Molly's
Um.
DUI video.
Yeah, I don't remember. Let
Because
me
here it's
see.
got body worn camera videos for 9/4/24 and 9/5/24. So that's 2 separate ones, but one AV file.
Oh, wait. Yeah.
So did Molly have back to back stops, or is this
No, that's
something
what.
different?
Remember what I was saying? Different people, different creators were looking at the difference in the times in the body cam video. One body cam
The
video
date.
was in Greenwich Mean Time. It happened like late at night, and it was like 7 something local time. But by the time you added Greenwich Mean Time in the time zone, it's like 8 hour difference. So then it showed 8 hours ahead on the next day.
That's really weird to me because I feel like if there's a body cam footage of an officer in their town or
Hmm.
town, whatever, the time should be correct to where they're at. Like I don't get. Okay, whatever reason they got videos 9/4/24 and 9/5/24 listed there.
Yeah, because there's two different date timestamps in the two different videos.
Yeah,
One when they were outside by her truck or whatever before they had brought her in
goes
says
into
one
the
thing,
night
and the one in the
because
station says something else.
be when they first pull over, it wasn't even dark all the way
Right.
outside.
It was like 7 something at night.
Right. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So the state has requested the balance of this request and will discover upon receipt. 442, copy of all email communication between the Gonzalez family, their attorney or representative, um, and the Latah prosecutor's office regarding Molly McMichael. So I don't know if the G's began to email them when the body cam footage of her DUI came out. I part right next to Brian.
Mm,
Uh,
that's what it looks like. Yep.
yeah, because the dates are down here. The state has complied with the request. Um, gives the Bates numbers. Got all that written down as well. Email from Steve Gonzalez, 6/19/25. And then they got an email from Shannon Gray, his attorney, on 6/16. So that's definitely after the body cam was released, or showed up on YouTube. It was actually out on YouTube several months before people realized it was on YouTube.
Hmm.
If you go back and look at the original from Axiom. Okay. So that was, then the state objects to this request as a copy of all email communication from Latah County Prosecutor's Office and law enforcement relating to Molly. The state objected to the request, exempt from disclosure. Any updated supplemental reports regarding Molly and interviews conducted by law enforcement. And then again, the state requests this information will be and will discover upon receipt. So all that was about Molly. I guess if you're Ann Taylor, you're going to want all that if it just come out. I would be like, I'd need the copies of that because Molly gave conflicting statements. Don't know how it would have benefited Kohberger, and apparently nothing would have benefited Kohberger. He wouldn't have took a deal. But yeah, it's almost like the little engine that could here. I think I can. I think I can. All right, let me get the next one pulled up, guys. What time is it? I feel like I'm starting to wear down. Okay, oops. Who's leaving their 2-year-old in a pond, Miss Woozy?
I know. I just looked down and saw that. I was like, wait, what?
My neighbor was moving and was going to take it to the pond and asked if I've missed part of the conversation. Hold on. I'm like, I'm male lions. Y'all talking about lions and stuff now. I don't know what's going on anymore. Okay. All right, that was all pertaining to Molly. And then the next one that came down was on 6/25. Let me get to there. And this one is redacted, Exhibit W to the defendant's 24th supplemental request. And this is just a one page. And again, it was just the defense asking for a copy of 441, all the documents on Molly, the videos. 442 was the email communications. 443 was the law enforcement communications. And 444 was the updated interviews and recordings. So, and then this one we'll pull up on screen. Let me grab it here. Get the screen up. Okay. Second notice of filing, defendant's additional objections to the juror questionnaires. We're still going on and on about them jurors. Kohberger, through his attorney of record, hereby submits to the court additions to the jury questionnaire received in court on June 18th. All right, question 50. So this is what she was talking about in the court session. All right, the defense requests that the question include the below additional language. If the defendant is found guilty of first-degree murder, is it possible that the jury, will have to decide whether or not to impose life without parole or death penalty before the jury? If the defendant is found guilty of first-degree murder, it is possible that the jury will have to decide whether or not to impose life without parole or the death penalty. Question 53. The defense requests that the question include the below additional language in section D and G. While I generally favor the death penalty, I can vote against imposing it if the state has not met its burden of proof that the death penalty should be imposed based on facts, or if mitigating evidence presented convinces me life without parole is appropriate. I think the crime lends itself to the death penalty. I don't know what Anne would have come up with in mitigation. Law and judge's instructions given the case. While I generally oppose the death penalty, I can vote to impose if the state has met its burden that the death penalty should be imposed on. I'm kind of over the death penalty. If this is such a big damn deal, we can't even go to trial because of this one little old thing, take it off the table. Stick them all in prison for the rest of their natural lives. Either way, they're dying. It's just the method that we're choosing to do it. Natural causes versus man-made. And if man-made is going to cause all these problems, do away with it. Do away with your little bargaining tool. Mitigation everywhere and this and that. We're going to fight for 10 years. Are we going to get death or are we going to get life? Question 53. I just sorry, guys. Question 55. The defense requests that the question include the following additional attorneys: Ingrid Beatty and Madison Allen. Question 61. The defense objects. The coverage of this case has been pervasive. It is in the media every day. There has been a lot of misinformation throughout the pendency, and prospective jurors that has read, heard, or watched the coverage cannot set aside what they have read, seen, or heard. Bias runs deep and strong depending on many potential connections to the case or to stories read, seen, or heard. The change of venue was granted for this reason. 62. The defense requests that the question be reworded to include the below additional language. If you do not hear evidence during trial matching what you heard from media or other sources prior to the trial, or hear evidence that differs from what you heard out from sources outside of trial, how will that impact the evidence presented during the trial? We're not supposed to consider what the media says or even us on YouTube. If we're jurors, I could have walked right in that courtroom and sat down and been an open juror, even open to her alternate perp stuff if she'd have given me something to put some teeth into. Sometimes it feels like they're insulting society just a little bit, and I don't care for that. That bothers me. I don't like it. Oh, what did I just do? I slung my ink pen down. Oh. Now, the next batch was just like a bunch of no contact orders, and I think there were 7 total. And those were all on 7/23, and they were unredacted, and it's all family members of the victims, and we're not going to go through each individual one.
Mm-hmm.
There's just really no point. We know who they all are. If we don't, we know. Of course, the Chapins, the Gonzalez family, the Cronodals, Maddie's mother, stepfather, and dad and stepmom. So, Miss Woozy, you've been a member for 2 months. Sorry for rabbit trailing. Well, I missed that. We're glad you're here. Thank you, thank you. Of course, that was her focus, Jeff, to get rid of the death penalty. That's what you do when you're a death penalty attorney. You try to get that on out of there. Florida, I live in the death penalty state. I ain't nothing y'all can tell me that I don't know about the death penalty. We see it every single day. I literally thought it was a normal thing in America until I grew up and realized it was a big deal and people didn't like it. I remember when they retired old Sparky because he sparked people to death. Kind of like the whole point of the thing, right? Hell, we put Bundy to death. We don't play. Send Kohberger on over here. Then again, don't, because we just let Stefan Stearns get away with the same bullshit. And we had plenty of evidence to stick him in the death penalty. And we just chose not to do it. So again, take your bargaining chip and sit down with it. You're going to find any reason you can to get that death penalty taken off the table. And one day you might succeed with a brilliant filing and you make a name for yourself because you won. And there's a lot of attorneys out there who beat death penalty cases all the time or get the death penalty taken off the table and reduced to life without parole. Look what happened in Lori Vallow's case in Idaho. Prosecution got sanctioned for failure to turn over discovery in time, took the death penalty right off the table for Miss Vallow. Like 24 supplemental requests. Everybody's over there screaming about how they don't. The state's not giving Ann anything. Well, that's fine and dandy. They'll pay the piper when it comes time, and they'll be sanctioned, and they'll lose their death penalty, just like Lori Vallow in Idaho. But that never happened here because the state was never hiding anything. That was just a bunch of rhetoric by Ann Taylor. Okay, so we went over that one, that one, and that one. And this one was second notice of filing defendants additional objections to the juror questions. Goodness, they're going to drive me nuts with these juror questions. Then again, if you look around, sometimes you wonder, you have to question the kind of people who are going to be on a jury, right? Are they all going to be level-headed people that can make sense of what makes sense? Are they going to be conspiracy theorists? Are they going to answer the jury questionnaires honestly? You know what I mean? There's all kind of stuff. You can't control everything. Okay, this is the one I just pulled up by accident. Pulled the same one up. Okay. Yeah, I don't know, Rachel. Was she complaining or just doing her job? Part of it, you know, you can paper the court to death as a tactic. And a lot of attorneys do it all the time. It's not like that's not been done before or unheard of. You're going to get out there and do your job the best of your ability. Some go a little, some get out of the lines, right? Some stay within the boundaries, some don't. Ugh. These defense attorneys, you can never tell if you're getting a honest defense attorney with you, or do I need to get behind you a little bit here, or we got some word salad coming out of your mouth. You never know with them defense attorneys and prosecutors as well. Okay, so let me skip past these ones. We are just about honestly finished with these. The 23rd, let me go back here. Okay. So we went through that one, and we went through that. And then there's all the no contact orders that we were telling you about. Okay, so then we get into some of the, now they've just exhibits S1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And these were what they showed at the, I'm trying to get the screen up. Okay, so these would have been the images shown of the victims. Oh, they did show these at the plea hearing, right? And they're up individually. I gotta take them down individually. Maddie was so pretty. She looked so much like her mom, didn't she? Yeah, Rachel, I've heard some YouTube attorneys talk about papering the court to death and getting thrown off cases because of it. It's a thing, you know. I don't got a problem with anything Ann Taylor ever did. I understand a lot of her filings. Some of them you could tell were just her being a defense attorney, but you pretty bold statement when you walk into a courtroom saying my guy's innocent. You moved pretty far away from that sitting next to him to sign a plea deal. It's just, you know, don't give all them defense attorneys a bad name because then we don't want to listen to any of them. And sometimes we need to listen to them. There are people found not guilty all the time of crimes. That's not unheard of. Okay, so this one would be, of course, Kaylee. And it's sad, 4 victims and what we see happening to them across social media. And it's hard to even get the information about the guy who actually harmed them to even get it out there. In Idaho over there, like downplaying it, or there's like all that circumstantial. We don't want to talk about it. Weird.
Yeah.
Weird. Well, I want to talk about all that circumstantial stuff because your guy is weird. Okay. Then, of course, Xana. These are some of the prettiest pictures of her in this set of photos that she took that day. Because there's several in these groups of pictures of her. And I just love these pictures of Xana. And then, of course, well, let me get my screen wider. There we go. And then, of course, now we have Ethan's photo. And I don't know how long it will take them to start unsealing that second batch that they're reviewing now. Of course, there's Ethan's. There was some good video of him in the ABC 2020 special. And of course, Stacy Chapin was just at CrimeCon over the weekend, and she was there with Othram Labs. They're partnering. We've got some stuff to review about that as well, but we're not going to do that today. And then the last photograph they had that they showed at the sentencing hearing, of course, was the one of all of the roommates together that day. And it's crazy too that they also had this picture, right? Not that they had it in court, that it was even out there the day of, right? That they're all together, and then Kaylee posts how lucky she was to be surrounded by these people, and then knowing what happened hours later. It's crazy. Oh, you're welcome, Jet. I will always show their pictures. Like I say, if y'all didn't get a chance to watch that ABC special, if you have a way to watch the ABC 2020, go and watch it. There wasn't a ton of new information for those of us who are well schooled in the case. There's some new things, like the Apple Watch possibility there with Xana. High amounts of DNA left on the sheath, things like that were in there. These victims aren't talked about enough in a good way. I think they are in a lot of places because the amount of people consuming the crap is small. And, we need to keep that in mind when we see it's out there and just know that, of course, I think a lot of us feel like we want to take up for these kids. I know I'm one of those people. There's times I'm just like, I want to scream it from the rooftops, but, what are we going to do? Change minds of weird people? No. So that small group needs to stay a small group, right? And if we can get more information out there about that guy they defend and how bizarre his world really was, we're absolutely going to talk about it each and every time. I remember when I first realized they don't want us to talk about Brian Kohberger. We're not allowed to do that. You can talk about those victims all you want to, but you better not say a word about Brian Kohberger. Well, you know what? Y'all can all kiss my arse, right? All of us feel that way. We're going to talk about Weirdo, Mr. Thumbs Up. What was up with the thumbs up all the time? Is that all he had from Mother?
Mm.
Oh, thumbs up, Mother. Another good. Maybe it was like, oh, I'll wink at my grandson sometimes. We can be out somewhere. Or I'll look over at him. I'll wink. He'll wink back. We both know what that means, right? Maybe this is a little thumbs up with Mom. Hey, Mama. Ugh. But I wonder where these were taken. If somewhere at Wawawee, as Ann suggested, was his favorite place to go, was some at the Kamiok Butte, was this on the Snake River? Chances are it was. How'd you get the Band-Aid on your finger, you freak of nature? Lordy, lordy. Sunflower, you're cracking me up with that. In my well-fitted jeans, that's right. I love that. Reminds me of something my mama would say. Got me rolling over here. J. Ray, I don't see it because I don't go venture off into those nasty streets where them people play. There's some dirty streets out there, and I don't like to walk the dirty streets. I know where to avoid, right? So I try to stay away from it. So luckily, like I said, though, that is a small crowd doing all of that. So I legit need to the context of that jeans picture. Oh, did I not upload that one picture? Hold on.
Which
Wait.
one?
Let me go to my phone. Let me look. There was a picture on the Dateline, and he's got on a brand new pair of jeans, and they're black, and the tags are still on the back, and he has his back to the mirror, and he's taking a selfie, and you can see the tags on the back of the pants. And then you go back and look at the closet in his room folded up on the shelf. There's what, 2 pairs of jeans at least, and one pair's black, but I can't tell if they still have the tag on them. Now I'm trying to find that picture. Hold on, because I really thought I uploaded it to the screen here for us to look at. Where the hell did it go? It's not on my phone anymore. I'm looking where I have it. But I wish that when the Dateline or the ABC come out, there would be some dates on the photos that they're showing. But we don't have the context behind that information yet. Oh, goodness. I got to find that picture. Also, when did Kohberger buy the bug guard for the front of his car? I haven't seen any receipts for that yet or
Mm-mm.
mention of it yet. See, there's my picture of the jeans in the closet that I was going to show, but I don't see where my damn picture went of him. I'll find it and get it up here for in the morning, or I'll post it to the community tab as well. Hope I didn't delete it by accident. When I went to click upload it, I think I might have accidentally deleted it because it's not even showing here. But I'll get it. But yeah, it shows him standing in his bathroom with a pair of brand new jeans on. Like I said, his back is facing the mirror, and then he's got his phone taking a selfie, showing his mom the back of his. I guess he's showing it to Mother, or he's taking it for himself to see if his butt looks good. 'Cause we knew a girl that would always say that, my butt looked good. We're like, chick, what's wrong with you? So it was a running joke. My butt looked good. We always knew what that meant. So I wonder if he had the same complex. It's my ass. And the look on his face though was like, Huh? I got to find that and send it to you. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go for the day. I'm going to go chill out. I think I'm going to make me some soup. Um, I'm going to rewatch that special again later and take a couple of notes on it. We've got some stuff to
Mm-hmm.
review in the morning as well. If anything new comes down, we'll review it in the morning. But there are some different things I want to talk about in the morning, and we'll get to reviewing some of that Mickey Stein stuff. I need to get that document out of my email and get it ready for us to review as well.
Oh, okay.
Um, Selfies for me, myself, and I. Right? I'm not a selfie taker. Even back in the day. Remember when everybody got cell phones and Facebook, and all of a sudden there were duck faces everywhere. I never understood it. Like, why are we taking pictures of ourselves and posting them? Like, in case people don't know what we look like. I don't know. So I'm not a picture taking person, and I'm not a selfie taker. But man, Kohberger, he didn't mind the selfies of himself. Mother always needs a good picture of her. Y'all know how most boys and well, kids in general, after a little while, they're like, "Mom, stop taking pictures of me. Are you going to post that to your social media? Mom, stop it." My kid hadn't let me post him for a long time. Brian's like, "Hey, Mom." Ooh, does Marianne have a social media where she was posting her latest images of son? I wonder if her phone called him son the way he called her mother. You you're waiting for your flight, Woozy. I'm glad you had a good time at Crime Con. All you guys
Oh,
who made it down there,
she's
yeah,
at the airport. Oh, okay.
yeah. So Woozy and Joe both made it down for the weekend. I saw a little bit of coverage here and there on what was some of the things going down there over the weekend. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then I saw the post about Mr. Holman getting his award.
Hmm.
I didn't get sick, so I did okay. I was like, ugh. If you know, you know. I'm not so sure he should have got that award. Best read technique, maybe, but other than that, hell, it didn't even work. Nobody confessed during the read technique. No, that was under Halidol induction. Anyway, I gotta stop. When my son asked me not to post stuff, I didn't. It's simple, right? Yeah. After about a certain age, they don't want you posting their shit no more. Like, Mom, stop taking pictures of me. All right. CrimeCon 2026 leaves from Fort Lauderdale. Oh, where is CrimeCon next year? Do y'all already know?
They were supposed to announce it. I don't know. Um,
What couple years ago it was in Orlando because that's when Firefly went. But 2 years ago it was Orlando. I don't know where it's supposed to be at next. Yeah, Rachel, what we're hearing is he did not send all these pictures to anybody. Some of them he did, I think, but most of the ones, oh, where'd he go? I can't get my, jeez. There we go. Um, but yeah, that says some of the photos he took, he never sent to anybody. Hmm. A cruise, girl, it's been look, I was on a cruise this one time and we left out of New Orleans and cruised across the Gulf of Mexico. That's what it was called back then, all the way to Mexico. We have a great time, fabulous time until we headed back. Our little tender boat broke our stabilizer. So we rock and rolled all the way back across the Gulf of Mexico. Shit falling off the kitchen tables into the dining room, crashing around. And I'm like, oh, no, thank you. That ship rock and rolled all the way across the Gulf. It was not a fun ride. I'm like, what is happening? Me back to land. Let me face a hurricane instead. And you know what was weird too? We left in like it was January, and so it was cold on the in the Gulf Coast. It's cold in January. It's like January, February is our coldest month. You get halfway across the Gulf of Mexico, and you can start to feel that warm air getting closer and closer to Mexico, right? And you start shedding the light jacket you brought with you or whatever, and it's like, where'd my summer clothes go? It was crazy. All right, guys, I'm gonna let you go for the day. Um, get some things together for tomorrow's content as well, and we'll be back with that. A crime cruise. A crime cruise. Somebody's going overboard. Hey, maybe y'all have one of those like dinner theater whodunit things, right? I've went to one of those before with a friend of mine. It was pretty cool. Dolphin, thanks for coming up and going through the documents with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome.
We'll keep an eye out, guys. If any more come down, we'll certainly get on it. And I'll check the websites later to see if anybody else has put anything out in the meantime. And then we'll get back with you guys in the morning at sometimes. I don't know when Joe's going to go live again, so y'all keep an eye out when he decides to do that and give us a CrimeCon wrap-up. I don't know what he said to Jerry Holman yet, so I'm curious. All right, everybody, have a good afternoon, and I'll see you back here in the morning sometime. You guys have a good one. See you later, Dolphin.
Mm-hmm. Good night. I mean,
Thank you all for watching this here video. Please like and subscribe.